Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Britton's Hangout Hour episode 130. Wow. I'm here today with a good friend of the channel, Tim McKay. Though I feel like a bad friend because I haven't talked with you in a while. So, how you been, man? I mean, we were kind of
I'm
talking about it
good.
a
No,
little
you're
bit.
good. We see each other around. I feel like on X or on in YouTube chats.
That's
I feel
true. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah, we do find I do find some of your tweets on Twitter or X, whatever they call it
that too.
nowadays.
Yeah, I jump back and forth. I call it Twitter. I call it X, and I call it Twix. Depends on the mood. I think. So I get you. Yeah. I don't know. I called it Twitter the other day and someone like exploded at me. It was really funny. I've had it both ways. I've had people explode at me for calling it X or for calling it Twitter.
I
You
was about
just
to say, I
can't.
thought people would get more irritated that you call it X, because like
Yeah.
literally
No.
nobody I've met calls it X. They're like,
Yeah.
no, we're calling it Twitter because we're gonna be petty.
It definitely goes both ways nowadays. It just depends who you're talking to on a given day. So
I don't know.
really funny.
Yeah, I was talking to my
Yeah.
grandma about it the other day. I was like, she has no idea about social media or anything like that, but I was like, man, Twitter, and she's like, oh yeah, Elon took it over and like kicked out all these people who were doing nothing. I was just like, oh man. Okay. All right. All right. All I was saying was I thought the name change was stupid. I'm not, I don't want to diatribe about why it was a good idea or not. But
Yeah.
whatever. Love you,
Yeah. No,
Nanny. If you watch
I'm
this,
used to it at this
I
point,
love
but
you.
it still doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, Elon Musk is a strange man.
He's a character.
He's a
Yeah.
character. Yes, that's always that. It's always that word. It's always that phrase people use when they're like, I don't know how to describe this person. So a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Someone memorable. Let's put it that way.
yeah, yeah. You won't be forgetting him anytime soon,
Yeah.
for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But last time we talked, you were working on a book, if I remember. If I recall right, you actually put it out. You were combining. You had like two books, but you were going to combine them together, if I remember right, and you ended up putting it out.
Yeah, that's true. We the last time we talked would have been quite a bit. Yeah. If I have it right, it would have been before I published. So yeah, I was combining my first two books plus a third part.
Mm.
I might even have. Yeah. So let's see. I've got both parts here. There we go. So I had part one,
Uh huh.
Rise of Jessica, and then I had part two, Seas of the Zova,
Uh huh.
and I took both of those down, expanded and revised them, added some missing scenes,
Mm-hmm.
wrote a third part roughly the same size, and combined them into the Fall of Sylvandria.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so that would have come out. Yeah, that an earlier version came out in September, but that was before this cover was done. And then I put it out with the new cover in I want to say end of December 2024. So yeah, it still feels that feels like such a long process to me that sometimes I forget that really that's only 6 months ago.
That's
Um,
yeah, no, right? Like the
it's
other
still new.
day, I was talking with some friends of mine. I'm like, dude, we're almost at the end of May already. This is ridiculous, you
Yeah,
know?
I mean we're in June now. This is wild.
We're in June as of recording of this. I'm just like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah, this year in particular so far has gone by just wildly fast. I feel like I blinked and half the year was gone, So I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
complaining. It's been a fun year, but wow.
it's been a wild year so far. It's like people getting kicked out of indie sci-fi competitions,
Yeah.
allegations,
Yeah, that there's been a lot of drama, a
wildfires.
lot of
Wildfires. I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
guys.
And we're both in that scene on, we see what happens on social media and it's for a good stretch there. That's the thing. I retreated from it for a while because there was just almost daily
It was
drama.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I stuck to my editing work. I edited some big projects for other authors. I jumped on judging for Writing Battle. So their writing competition, which is just finally wrapping up. The second time I've judged for them. Lots of fun, and you get paid for it, so that's decent. But it's a lot of work. I think I'm glad I didn't have as high an editing workload this month, or I wouldn't have been able to manage it because it's a lot. I've never read so much in so little time, and I'm a notoriously slow reader.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, also, if I recall right, you said you became a teacher a few months back. Are you still doing that, or are you kind of is that like a part
Oh,
time gig?
yeah, so it was always part time. It's interesting. So we ask me, ask me in September because right now it's up in the air for two reasons. Number one, since it was always part time, and they just bring me back on a contractual, every 4 months essentially. And right now I'm on summer, so I'm waiting for closer to September when they'll decide if they want to bring me back. But long story short, the program is being closed along with about 37 other college programs at
Oh
the college
no.
I taught at. Yeah, so it's not just us. It's massive budget cuts across the province for post-secondary, especially colleges.
Yeah, we've struggled with that at my college, not with budget cuts, but just like we've been threatened with it a few times
Mm,
because
yeah.
surprisingly, college newspapers can have some hard hitting journalism, and I guess the higher ups were kind of like, I don't like this. Get out of here. No, but
Wow.
get out of here. No, it's yeah, it's. I mean, I've seen it happen a few times.
I've
Where
never seen it on this scale. This is,
not on that
uh,
scale, but I've
yeah,
seen
because
that
what they
happen before, though.
well, in this case, it's because I think both federal and provincial budgets they cut back on funding for international students, which for
Mm,
a lot of colleges and universities here in Canada, that's the backbone. And so even programs like ours, we have minimal international students that join our program and very low overhead costs because it's a writing program. You
mm-hmm.
don't need labs or much tech other than basic projection and you know and a space to teach. So it's very unfortunate. We're all a bit shocked that they're cutting programs like ours. Um, Anyways, what can you do? But they're cutting business programs too. They're cutting
Oh
some tech
wow,
programs. Oh, I'm talking. It's not. Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
art as
It's not
well as tech as well as business.
wow, they
There's
must have really
straight.
taken. They must be taking like a hit or something. That.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a huge hit. They closed an entire campus of the school to put it in
Oh
perspective. Yeah.
wow, that's insane.
And again, it's not just us. Like this is happening across the province, and I can't speak for other provinces in the country, but Ontario here in Canada, yeah, our colleges have just been sucker punched.
Yeah, it always throws me off with provinces because we call those states out here
States, exactly.
in the states.
Well, we complicate it extra because we have provinces and territories, which are basically the same thing for no reason. So yeah, Canada's an interesting place.
Yeah, I've seen you on Mike Molman's show a couple times, and have you started your own kind of internet show? Because I've seen you go live on Twitter a couple times, or
Yeah.
Twix.
So my friend Isaac Anderson and I, fellow author, I think I have his book queued. Yes, here we go. Yeah, so he wrote Song of Bones.
Oh,
Um, Very fun, kind of Redwall style, a bit darker
mm,
book. Very fun. Anyways, yeah. So we we had been getting together or just going on Zoom calls about once a week for ages, just writing together. And it spurred the idea after a lot of conversations, let's start something like this and just chat with fellow authors and reviewers. Uh, our original goal was every 2 weeks, but we had so many people asking to come on that we immediately realized, okay, let's do once a week until we have, and meet the demand for now and maybe quiet down later. But yeah, so it's just fun. We go on for anywhere from an hour to 3 hours at the extreme, but and just chat, kind of like this, just talking about book stuff and talking about the craft and talking about the writing process. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been good.
so yeah, you've been busy this past
I've been
couple
busy.
months,
Yeah,
from the sounds of it.
it's been a very busy. I mean, and I'm finally coming off of it. As of yesterday, is that yeah? Yesterday, I finished editing my audiobook. So that was my big task. So I did it
Yeah,
myself.
you were telling me
After,
about that. So
yeah.
how did
Oh,
what's up with that? Did you perform the audiobook or did someone else
yeah.
do it? Oh, you
So
performed it.
initially, I was going to get someone else, and we got We got about halfway through, but that's a generous description. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here, but there were a lot of issues. Yeah, without going further into detail, it got to the point where once the contract time allotted was fulfilled and we hadn't made sufficient progress, I dropped the contract once I was allowed.
Yeah,
Um,
I was talking, or well, I wasn't talking with them, but I hope you know who the Mittens are of Talking Story fame.
yeah, yeah.
They put out their book Discovery, and because Brian Bell apparently has some, like, he knows audiobook people, I guess,
Mm,
and like he ended up getting him like a deal with some people, and I'm like, my good lord, man, like
that's awesome.
that's nuts. It's awesome, but yeah, I'm like, man,
Oh yeah, definitely a spark of jealousy. But now
yeah, a little
it was
bit, yeah, a
very
little
fun.
bit.
It was very fun
I
to
was
do it
impressed, but
myself.
I was also a little jealous. I'll admit.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah. I mean, part of me was tempted to just put the book up for auction again, because when I put it up initially, I had a lot of requests right away, which was kind of fun. You put your book up on ACX, and I just chose the royalty share option. So up front, it told them, you'll get to share royalties, but no upfront payment. And I thought because of that, I wouldn't get much demand. No, 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 there was a lot, and it's very fun hearing different narrators. You send them your sample chapter, and they narrate that to give you a feel for what to expect. Very fun to get those back. So I think, though, it's not that the experience, my first round was so bad that I just decided to do it myself. Uh, I had already done 2/3 of the book myself just to get a feel for it,
mm-hmm.
and just to practice some of the editing and practice with the software. So I already had the equipment, I already had the software, and I already had some of the experience. So I don't know. After working with a narrator, I kind of picked up on some of the things he was doing really well, and incorporated that into my own style. So then when I re-recorded everything, I do think it came out much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of glad I did it myself, because it's I get to tell the story exactly as it was meant to be told. Um, Not everyone can do that, and I'm not promising it's on par with some of the top tier narrators. That's kind of the trade-off. Is you're getting it's more like an author reading. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
treated it. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, yeah, it's nerve wracking, because now I have to, I'm giving it one final listen through and then submitting it to
That must
Amazon.
be fun, listening to your own voice and just going like,
It's
Gah! I don't know what you're
no,
like when
when
you.
you're initially recording, you hate your own voice, and when you're initially editing, you really hate your own voice, because you're listening to small little snippets like 10 times, right? It just kills your soul. But once you're done, oh, it actually sounds good. It's actually really fun now. But again, it took me a full month of really hard work to get to where I am now. I basically made this my full-time job and did other stuff on the side. I've never worked harder than I have in the last month and a half.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, oh, sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Yeah, I know what you mean. Writing's been really frustrating for me this year because it's like I started a Western book.
Mm.
Um, just kind of it didn't peter out. I do hope to go finish it at some point, but I got stuck on it. I'm like, screw this, just more lack of motivation. Started a sequel for the one book I already wrote, and then that stalled because school was getting in the way. Also, I need to edit my other book that I already wrote, or I'm still
Fair.
editing it, so I'm just like, good lord, this is. I thought it would
Yeah,
get
that's
easy. I
tough.
thought it would get easier after I wrote it, but no, it's not.
Do you find, well, it's one thing to start another project. That's a whole other question. But do you find, even editing, I find that tough. Did you find, I mean, clearly it must be the case, but I'm genuinely curious. I meet a lot of people who they will finish drafting a book, they
Hmm.
will immediately start editing it at the same time as starting to write something new, just to make sure they're
Mm.
always writing. I can't do that. If I'm
Mm.
editing, I can't write, and if I'm writing, I can't edit, and if I'm doing audiobook, I can't write or edit. Like, I find my mind is very one track. I envy those who can do multiple. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still figuring it out because I mean,
mm,
I this like the novel I already wrote was the first like thing I finished. I'm like, okay, I am pleased enough. Keyword is enough. I think I can do something with this.
Yeah.
And then I gave it to a good friend of mine who's also Canadian.
Hmm.
And he's like,
Noticing
here's all the
trends.
stuff you did wrong. Edit all this and we'll talk some more. And I'm like, okay. So I did that. And then my dad took a look at it and he's like, all right, we're going to look back over this. So I was like, okay, all right.
Never ends. Yeah.
And then we got stalled because life just keeps getting in the way. And this year has been particularly busy because, like I said, I think I said this before we were, videoing this, but yeah, I'm in the final throes of college, if you will. So,
Yeah.
that's sucked up so much of my time where, like, it's one of those cases. I don't know if have dealt with this, but like you do it and you're kind of burned out from it, and then you're like, I don't want to do anything else for the rest of the day.
Yep.
Like what I want to do? I just want to chill out and play video games. Just been having a lot of those days recently.
I
but
feel you.
but
I think that's coming up for me. Honest, it's going to be very hard for me. Probably at the end of the day tomorrow, when I finally finish this listen through of the audiobook. I'm counting the seconds till then, and so that means over this coming weekend, yeah, it's going to be very hard for me to do anything. So I get it.
yeah,
I'm right now. You're talking to me at peak burnt out in a good way, though. It's been very rewarding, but oh yeah, bring on. I think Oblivion Remastered is out. I've been meaning to check that out. There's a few other things on my
yeah, same
to-do
here.
list.
I've been wanting to check that out, but based on what you were asking, I don't know what exactly I am yet because it's like. I'm one of those guys, like, I don't want to be that guy who, like, writes a like, this thing and then just gets stuck on, editing it forever. Because, I
Yeah,
like to be constantly working. But then again, I'm still kind of figuring out this process and how it works for me. Because I know it's different for dozens of other people, So,
yeah,
I mean, my friend Chance Dillon, who, I don't know if you've heard of Chance Dillon, but
yeah. I think
he
we've interacted on and off, and I've seen him around for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book called. He gave me an advanced reader copy, so don't seethe and envy everyone who watches
Yeah,
this.
okay. The moment I
But
saw just yes,
yeah,
I love that cover so much every time I see it.
yeah, no, he's putting this out in July, and then he like I saw a post from him the other day. He's like, I'm already working on book 2. I sent it off to edit. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
How did you do that? And he's,
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
but I see everyone has different styles. I tend to write in sprints, and
yeah,
that works for me.
I try to set times for myself to write because like I can't.
Mm,
I tried to do it just when the muse hits me, as they say. Can't
yeah,
do it. I just deliberate for too long.
yeah. Now, do you? So you've already stepped away. Let's say for your sequel, right? You've already started and then stepped away. Have you had the chance to step back? Like, do you find it hard to step back to something once you've stepped away like that?
A little bit. It depends, I guess. I mean, I do want to get back to it. I'm kind of the only worry I have is I just there was some stuff that because generally how I've written so far is like I really try to not. I try to learn when I read. I try to learn lessons from writers that I like, and even
Yeah,
writers I dislike as well. But writers I like who have pitfalls, I'll take an easy example: Stephen King. Now, Stephen King has described this process as he just kind of writes for a bit and he kind of just wings it, if you will. I hate to put it like that, but that's kind of how he describes it. He kind of wings it.
yeah.
Um, I don't want
Notorious
to.
answer.
I
Yeah,
don't I don't want to be that guy, But at
mm,
the same time, I've tried to outline. I just do not have the patience for it.
fair.
So generally, how I think of it is, I think of the beginning, like a beginning scene that I have in my head, and I'm like, okay, I like this, and I'll think of like an ending scene. So I'll have two things to work towards,
Yeah,
So I'll have something to work to. The rest of it, I can kind of just make up as I go along.
yeah.
And I'll just go this way. I don't know if anyone's noticed in my first book that because there was some of it where sometimes I was just kind of writing it, and then I hate when the writers do this, but it's true. But they're like, sometimes the characters just take the story from you.
Yeah.
That's true. That is
Well, I think
true.
there has to be room for that too
It's
while you're
true.
writing. Yeah.
Sometimes the character's like, hey, follow this guy, the banker guy. Slight spoilers, but Not really, but like there was a banker character in my first book that I'm editing right now, and I'm like, let's follow that guy. What's he doing with his life, you know? And I'm
No,
like,
I think I remember
okay,
you.
yeah. So that'll probably be a bit of a struggle for me because there was some stuff I was writing. I'm like, ooh, yeah, like this is coming together, and then school was like, nope, you're not gonna write for a while. So yeah, it's gonna take a minute to kind of get back in that rhythm, but I don't know yet. Because I haven't really.
Did you say there were flintlock elements in the book? Why do I?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's muskets. Yes.
Nice. Yep. Well, that makes me happy, as you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um.
bankers and flintlock, I'm sold.
Yeah. No.
That's what came to mind. I was like bankers, and that period. Yeah, great, perfect.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. My historical research is basically a lot of it was just what do I already know about this period in time, and I just kind of
Mm.
went from there, and also just kind of researching some other stuff. I'm thinking of picking up some books about like Puritanism at some point, but I just again haven't gotten around to
Mm.
it. Also, I'm
That'll
running
be
the
a fun
booktube
tie-in.
channel
That'll
because
be a very fun tie-in for that
you know
period. Yeah.
I freaking love Puritans. I'm
Mm.
just gonna say it right now. I love them. Now I don't know if I agree with everything they did, but like man, I love their little costumes. I love the weird spiritual. I love all that stuff. So yeah, love Puritans.
That does sound fun. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have my Athamine order in my book. That I mean, there's a few orders that compete
Yeah, I was about to
against
say
each
you
other.
like you were a monk at one point, right? You know a little bit about
I was
about
a pastor, yeah. So I
oh
mean, a bit different, but I dressed as a monk once. That's a whole
oh
other story. Yeah, that was. I think I told it on all caps just the other night, so I won't repeat the full thing. But long story short, I cut my hair like a monk on a dare, and
oh yes.
yeah. So then I ended up as a joke walking into the chapel service at the Bible college one time, right after having done that, dressed as a monk with like a black scarf around a brown flannel sheet,
Did
and
you like did other
out.
people go
So,
like what the hell is
oh
that?
no, they were dying laughing. It's one of the funniest things ever. Yeah, it was
I was about to
great. It
say
was very
I think he
satisfying.
told that story last time we talked.
That
So
sounds right. Yeah. So, which is funny. I hadn't even thought of it for ages, and it came up just recently. But anyways, where was I going with that though? Yeah, having been a pastor, I find this stuff interesting. And when I was studying history at University of Ottawa, I geared a lot of my papers towards things like this. And funny
mhm.
enough, from these periods, so studying religious orders.
Yeah, like
For
same thing with like Mennonites. I'm really
yeah,
fascinated with
yeah,
Mennonites for a similar reason because it's like how about that? Not the Amish so much. The Amish are kind of, you know,
yeah, very different. Yeah, I get it.
they're they're not their costumes aren't as fun. I guess they look like farmers, which I
Yeah,
guess they technically are.
yeah. I, yeah, I've never. It's funny that you see Amish culture crop up in a lot of popular media, and it's just never been. I mean, it's fantastic, but I feel like that gets so explored in movies and TV. Whereas, yeah, definitely my interests when it comes to study and research, even for my own books, definitely leans more towards those religious orders and convents and monasteries and early pioneers and missionary work.
Hmm.
Missionary efforts can be very interesting to study for this sort of thing.
Yeah, I know. I that's kind of. I mean, like I said, the hook of the story is basically our main character gets in trouble, and this guy who's basically part of this religious order. They're basically warrior Puritans, really. So they have
Fun.
the costumes, they have the hats, they have the whatever, but they're like, but
I
like
like
not
it.
everyone dresses up like that. Like they're like a special order of people, who.
Got it. Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, I'll let you go if you do this thing for me." And that's how the kind of plot kicks into gear, really. But
That's fun.
yeah. So I'm really fascinated with those kind of what do you call those grassroots religious movements,
Yeah.
if you will. And
Yeah.
part of the backstory is kind of similarly to our world. They were like, "Screw this, we want to go worship God in our own way," so they go to
Mhm.
this other continent.
Yeah.
pretty much. I don't know what it's like in your book, but
Mixed. Yeah. No, the One Order in particular, the Athemine group, they're very much infiltrators. Is more what I would call them. So an order that sort of springs up and very quickly wrestles control from the other powers. Politically, socially, very quickly creeps into different institutions in this big empire, and more or less takes over.
uh-oh.
Yeah, so it gets very interesting very fast. But then there's also competing, nations and orders kind of fighting against their influence, and yeah, it gets complicated. It's fun. I don't know. I like that. I like those sorts of the combination of political and religious and social. Without getting too philosophical, it's definitely not a. I wouldn't call it a preachy by any stretch. It's not preachy. I like those elements of complexity, but it's still meant to be a fun book. I was aiming for dark but fun.
Yeah, I'll have to pick up your book and I'll have to read through it to see like, all right, do I need to get rid of anything to make sure the people say I'm not ripping Tim off? Probably not.
I doubt it. Yeah, there's
probably not, but
Yeah, because again, I really like Puritan history. That's fun to study. But I would say, yeah, very different focus.
Or like Quakers. Though I guess Quakers aren't really like, they don't have weird costumes, but they're called Quakers. So you're like, yeah, okay.
Well, you say that, but it's funny because
they? I mean, I think they did have weird costumes back in the day, but like I don't think so as much anymore.
Do you have Quaker oaths, or is that purely in Canada?
I thought they were against oaths.
No, oats. So we have a cereal brand here in Canada.
Oh, yes.
I think they are more widespread than just Canada.
Yes.
But there's a specific image. I forget the guy's name.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. The cereal, the Quaker cereal, or whatever it's called.
So when I think Quaker, that image comes to mind. that costume, that apparel, that look, the almost like British wig,
yeah,
kind of style hair. So I have a very specific image of Quaker in my mind.
I'll have to look that up what it's called later, and I'll
yeah, you know what? Like Quaker Mills, I think Quaker Oats. No, it is Quaker Oats. Yeah. Yes, that hat. It's the hat. It's the scarf. The cravat kind of. Oh yeah. I've got the wiki page here. Anyways, yes, definitely look it up. It's super funny. That's the image. That's my image.
The same thing too for me. I'm always because like I remember hearing that like Richard Nixon, American president, was a Quaker. I'm like, so I always imagine him when he was a kid, like dressed up in a little like like that little cereal costume running around. Probably not, but I was just like, it's funny.
Well, you know what? Now that I'm looking it up, this is really funny. So there's definitely some crossover there. Because the Quaker guy has been identified as William Penn, so founder of Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
Crossover there, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they have a big Quaker population over there, probably.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. That takes this to another level. I never knew that. I've studied some U.S. history in school, and that was one of our main areas of focus, definitely.
Quakers?
I never realized William Penn is the Quaker guy. That's hilarious.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I just blew my own mind with that. That's great.
I just knew, if I recall right, I think he was like either that or the guy who founded Georgia was part of a debtor's prison, and he's like, I want to go to the New World, and they're like, fine, go away, and then maybe.
No, I don't think that was William Penn.
Maybe that was probably somebody else. I don't remember. Somebody founded a state who was like a debtor guy. Because back then, they'll just throw you in jail for, debt.
Yeah. If anything, it might have been the opposite if I'm seeing this.
I'll
look this up.
I was about to say, it's not like now where, you can just be like, I'm in debt. It's annoying, Like back then, they'll just throw you in jail. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Yep, glad those days are over.
Yeah, thankfully. I've been very fortunate. The other day, actually, I was talking with a bank. With the bank that my dad and I, were in contact with, paid off some stuff for my school, and I didn't realize this. It was money from my grandfather who had since passed away about a decade ago now. He left some money, and my dad and I, instead of just blowing it all as many people might do, my dad was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in the stock market, and I'm like, Coolio, and I've gotten a lot of money from that. Now, I just learned the other day. I was talking with my dad, and we were just kind of. And he told me, like, his initial plan was, he was like, all right, I wanted to borrow money from the school, and then when we're all done, we can just take this money we've accumulated from the stock market, and we'll just pay him back. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I learned the other day that the bank I called to, do all that, it turns out it was just my grandfather's money, and my dad was just like, I decided not to do the whole other plan. I was like,
No.
well, you could have told me that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have said that earlier. Because I kept thinking, like, oh, yeah, all right. I thought it was like a school I thought it was a bank for the school or something. Because it was in Edmond, because that's where my, class is, Edmond, Oklahoma.
That is funny.
But yeah, I was just like, that's all right. I'll take it. Also got a new debit card yesterday because my old one was breaking apart. So, I was like, well, crap, I'll have to do that. And I specifically remember, I was like, Dad, I don't want to change the number on my card. And he's like, okay, yeah, I don't think they'll make you do that. I look at the card, it's a different number. And I just like, ugh.
Oh, that is annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is such a first world problem thing, but it's like...
I don't know.
I had to switch out my Amazon stuff, so I know, not a big deal, but kind of irritating.
Yeah, I'd be a bit peeved. My bank has always been very good on that front. It's always the same, same number, just different CVV right on the back.
Yeah,
but, I've never had a problem switching cards. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I know you're a Wheel of Time fan, if I recall right. So unfortunately, though, the show got canceled.
Canceled. Yeah.
From what I heard, going back to Crazy Year, apparently it got canceled just as it was like starting to peak. From what I heard it was actually starting to get good.
I'll always have mixed feelings. There were overall, I didn't mind the first season as much as some people. Even some of the big changes they made, I gave it space to do that. But then, to me, it flopped the ending so badly that I almost lost faith in it ever recovering. Season 2 did an okay job recovering. It just took a bit of work. And I think closer to the end of the season, they hit their stride. And then Season 3 is when they really picked up from that. And, oh my gosh, overall, it was an exceptional season. There were 1 or 2 stale episodes, but some of them were genuinely mind-blowing. One of them stands out as one of the best fantasy episodes of anything I've ever seen. And then the ending, mixed feelings overall. And so I thought, okay, not perfect, but not terrible. But I definitely left with mixed feelings. So when I heard the news it was canceled, I thought, it would have been fun to see more. It would have been fun to see them continue doing, more of the good and less of the bad. They seemed to be on a positive path, but I think it became obvious to them, or to Amazon, that they had botched enough early on that I don't think they ever fully recovered.
Yeah, I saw some people complaining about it on Twitter, and as you do, because
there's been a lot of that. Yeah, and I get it. I really do. And
there's me who's not read any of the Wheel of Time books. I'm just.
Oh, you haven't read any?
No.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I want to, but maybe someday I'll get around to it. But
I've talked to people who said who hadn't watched, who hadn't read the books, who said they thought the show was great from beginning to end. And I think it's only people who've read the books that are more frustrated with the show, which I definitely get, because I read the books, all of them. So.
Though it was pretty funny. I saw Brandon Sanderson kind of make this comment the other day, and he's like, "Well, while I'm sad it's gone for the fans, I'm definitely not going to miss them not reaching out to me." So
yeah. Well, because they did for the first season, and then they just ignored him anyway, and so he just got rightfully pissed off and kind of backed out.
I was like, "Damn, Brando."
Yeah. Good for him, though. No, I mean, he wrote the last 3 books. If anyone has the right to be ticked off about this, it's him, and that's the point. They just were so...
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to. I just thought it was kind of funny how he responded.
Oh, it is funny. It's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
It was kind of like that article written about him, like, about a year ago, everyone was freaking out about, and he was just like, don't worry, it's fine.
I don't know if I remember. Yeah.
I don't want to get in that because again, I haven't read a lot of Brandon Sanderson, and I don't really know a lot about him aside from like his views on like world building and magic. And
Yeah, I've watched some of his YouTube videos, the course he teaches. Some of it's really good, some of it's and then, I tried reading his other stuff. I I was really impressed by his Wheel of Time contributions because he built off what Robert Jordan did, and it never you could tell the writing style changed just slightly enough. You knew it was a new author,
mhm.
but it kept to the characters and the world building, and the continuity was there. You didn't feel jarred by the change.
Mm.
That to me takes an incredible amount of talent. And I think because of that, I went into his actual books with very high expectations. So I might need to give him a fair chance now after a pause.
Yeah, I might
Because
try one of his like standalone books, like Warbreaker or something. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah, I tried. I think I tried Mistborn, and I tried uh, the other Way of Kings. No, or is that part of it? No, that's not part of Mistborn. Separate. So I tried two of his books, two of his series, and both times I thought, this this doesn't do it for me as well as his Wheel of Time contributions. So I don't know. I have no doubt he's a very talented author. It's just I haven't found his own works too compelling yet for me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely respect his contributions and kind of how far he's been kind of pushing publishing, if you will, for lack
Yeah,
of a better word. I
yeah.
don't want to say fantasy literature because I'm like, I don't know if he, again, haven't read any of his books, so, audience take this with a grain of salt, but I wasn't sure if, like, I don't know. I'm like, I think there are some pretty interesting, engaging, fantasy books out there that are kind of pushing the genre forward. I don't know if Brandon Sanderson's doing that, but definitely publishing side, he definitely is pushing a lot of things forward.
Yeah, well, like audiobooks and Kickstarters, he's been at the forefront of both. So that's what I remember. The moment you started saying those things, I thought, oh yeah, he was one of the big one. He was one of the ones pushing most for authors to get better royalties from audiobooks,
Mm-hmm.
which is great timing for me because I'm about to put mine out. So
Well,
hopefully
that
that's
doesn't
cool.
sound too bad. You're basically going to be like getting paid for it, I guess. I don't know how that
Well,
works. I don't know how that
I'm doing it
works.
myself, and I'll be doing it exclusive on. So it'll be an Audible exclusive. So iTunes and Amazon, which means I get more. I get like 40% royalties. That's great, depending on what the price is. And for a 541 page book, that's 17 hours. It's a 17-hour audiobook. Average price for that is over $20. I'll probably try to go a little under that if they let me. I actually don't know how much control over the price I have through Audible. That'll be interesting to see soon. If you hire a narrator, you have no control over the price. I think if you do it yourself, you do. So I need to confirm that
Hmm.
once they approve my files, which I haven't submitted yet. Again, once I finish listening. Um, yeah, but I mean that means I could be making as much as like easily $6, $7, $8, $9 from a per sale. And
Yeah,
people
one of
buy
my
buy with Audible credits, which means they're willing to pay a little bit more than they would for let's say an ebook. So I talk to a lot of authors. It's where they make most of their money from is from the audiobooks.
yeah, I've been kind of one of my goals this year was to try and do more audiobooks or immersion reading is what some of my friends call it.
Yep.
I've been wanting to do more of that, but I haven't had the opportunity to do much of it. So, there's
I've
one
been in the
book
same you've talked with Kay from Case Hidden Shelf, right?
I have talked to her. I haven't had her on like the show yet. I have
Mm,
asked her, and she's all like, "Oh, I'm kind of busy. It hasn't come together yet." In other words,
fair,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, we like she lives very
I know
close to
you've
me,
talked to her
so
before, like a while back.
yeah, we've talked a few times, and we've gotten together for coffee because we live so close.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
a
Yes.
few times, yeah. So it's nice, and she's always telling me you need to start. Or she's always talking about immersion reading, and I started briefly, and it didn't work as well. And now I think is the time to get back into it because I'm essentially doing that right now with my own audiobook, right? And now
Hmm.
I very much see the appeal. It's a very different way to experience a story.
Well, I mean, I want to try it to see if it's for me or not, because me,
Yeah,
I'm a big physical media guy. I like I like my physical books.
Yeah.
I like to touch the books. I mean, I have read stuff on my computer. I've read stuff on my phone. I don't really like reading stuff on my phone. I have done it, but I don't like it because it's just discombobulates me too much. And
I'll do it in a pinch,
I
if I'm on the
mean,
bus and I want to read, but I don't
which
have
is
the book
weird
with me.
because I can read like Wikipedia and articles and stuff on there like
Yeah.
a lot. Like that's what I do when I'm not like that's the reading I do when I'm not like For some reason though, with books, I like the physical media. I guess I'm just old fashioned that way.
I bounce back and forth.
I've thought
It's
about
more of a
getting a
movement
Kindle,
for
but I'm
me.
like, am I gonna use it though? Like that's the thing.
I was shocked how much I do use mine once I did cave and got it. So I think that's what's gotten me to more of this place where I'll bounce between different mediums. Because I did find Kindle really. See, I don't like the eye strain of phones or screens, so that's why Kindle was really good for me. Because it's
hmm
also small, so I can take it anywhere. Um, you know, Whereas books bulk up too quickly. Because yeah, I used to walk around with my bag just jam packed with books. And my little like leather kind of suitcase style bag, so it can't even fit that many books, and I would have it basically brimming. Um,
Yeah, no, I mean, I've thought about getting a Kindle because, I'm actually reading some books right now where, I don't like highlighting my books. I can't do that. Like, I don't do the tag. I don't put the little paper stuff on there. I can't do it. Not
yeah,
against anybody who does that. Like, that's fine if you like doing that. Whatever. I just can't do it. But I'm like, oh man, if I had a Kindle, there's these lines I could just underline it and go back to.
yeah.
I could do
Oh,
that.
Kindle makes taking notes really easy. Sometimes when I'm beta reading for a friend,
That's the
like
only
right,
real temptation for me to get a Kindle because of that.
yeah, like all you do is you press, you highlight and it'll highlight it
Because I
automatically
can't
for
find it
you,
on
and
Goodreads. Because
yeah,
I
well, and you
like
can sync the notes to Goodreads, which is kind of fun.
Goodreads. And I are kind of like in a tumultuous marriage at this point. It's like I hate it sometimes, but I'm like,
A
all
lot
right,
of people
I
have been
need to.
complaining about Goodreads lately.
Yeah, it sucks sometimes. Like it's some of the models are outdated, and I'm just
I was just finally coming around to it, and now everyone's ditching, and I'm like, no, I just got here.
oh man, I've even complained to them on Twitter, and they're like, oh well, you should do this. We'll get to fix it soon. I'm like, all right. And they generally have. So I'm like, all right, yeah. Because there
Fair.
was one time where the copies of the books, for whatever reason, they were all foreign copies, and I was complaining on Twitter. I'm like, why is this the case? Goodreads, explain yourselves. And they're like, oh, we'll fix it. And then like a few days later, it was back to like English. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I get the complaints, is what I'm saying.
Fair. Yeah, I've had mixed experiences on the author's side. My fun one is that they always misappropriate my books to another TJ McKay whenever I publish. So I have to immediately ask them to get it under the right author. It's really entertaining every time. So yeah, anyway, this is very interesting. I think that other guy, no, the one I always get attributed to has passed away, which makes it weirdly either morbid or funnier. I always bounce
Wow.
between the two. But yeah, so making sure the books actually get shifted over to me is extra
Luckily,
tough.
I don't think there's any other Britton Summers who have been authors. So
Fair.
we'll see.
I think you're safe. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've
You
I've
never know
lucked
though.
out there. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, it's a strange thing. Goodreads. Though
Yeah.
I
It's
use
good.
it because I'm like I have already like so many books on that want to read. I don't want to freaking go to Storygraph, and I have transferred my like file over there. Took a long time, but I did it. But
Yeah.
like it's not the same.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone pushes for these new platforms, and I just it's even relatively new to Goodreads as I am, I'm not so new that it feels like a hassle, and the other platforms aren't as big, and they aren't integrated with Amazon, which for the author's sake is huge.
hmm
The fact that my review count or my rating count from Goodreads shows up on my Amazon book page, that makes a huge difference. Because especially the way Amazon does it now, where ratings get spread across countries unless they're verified purchases, that totally destroys the number of reviews. I remember before they made that change, all your reviews were, the rating tally was combined, right, for a
hmm
while. And when they split it, suddenly you look like you have way less ratings than you actually do. So
Mm-hmm.
Goodreads is a place where you can see everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So most authors have higher numbers on Goodreads than on Amazon, which definitely helps because social proof is huge for sales. People need to see that there's it doesn't have to be significant, especially as a new author, but it has to be big enough that people see, okay, some people are reading and clearly enjoyed his book.
Yeah.
If it's
Um,
too low, no one's going to give you a chance. Strangers won't give you a chance. People will, but that's different.
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I've talked with a good couple of indie authors on the show, and that's always something they're talking about, which is, how would I describe it? You know, ratings and whatnot. Thought about going into self pub myself because I'm like, well, this book I have here, it's not very long. Doesn't have a lot of that like Sandersonian, world building and whatever.
Fair.
It's pretty streamlined, and there's like warrior Puritans running around. I don't think a mainstream publisher would pick it up. If they did, I would be very pleasantly surprised, but I'm not counting my chances. So,
Fair.
I've had some
Yeah,
friends who are
it's
kind of
tough.
like, oh, self pub's not the same thing. But I'm like, you know what? I'll take my chances. I'm like, if the Mittens can do it, I'll have to try. Now I know they're much bigger than I am as a YouTube channel, but I
Yeah, they
have to
do an
try.
incredible job. They on every level, production value on their show, and just the amount of effort they put in, and having a family working together as a team, that's huge.
I
A
know
lot
it's
of us.
it's already a hassle writing by yourself because I'm
Yeah,
like writing with
I
three
wish I had that
people
kind of support.
or writing with two other people is oh man, that sounds. And I talked with him on my channel and I had him on. We were kind of talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's we had to go backwards is what they told me. I was like, oh man.
Fair, yeah. Yeah, I'd be nervous. I'd definitely be nervous about co-writing. I don't think I'm there yet. But I mean, I see so many authors who've done it incredibly well. It's Anna Smith Spark and Michael R. Fletcher. They have.
I actually hold on. I actually got one of Anna Smith Sparks' books the other day. 'Cause
Mm,
I've seen interviews with her, and she seems like a really interesting person. So
yeah,
I was just
yeah.
kind of like looking around. I'm like, okay, which one should I pick up first? And I just picked this one up because I really like the cover. So
Oh yes,
the
yeah, yeah,
Sword of Bronze and Ashes looks really.
yeah.
Apparently, she put out a sequel to it not very long ago, I guess.
Yeah, I think I know the one.
Um, but yeah, man, I was like, I gotta pick this up, so I did. And
Yeah, I've been meaning to add more of her work to my TBR for sure. Or I mean, some of hers is already on my TBR, but yeah, and I'm kind of right now. That's where I'm in terms of my writing
we need
style.
more standalone fantasies. I mean, yeah, I'm
Fair.
kind of hypocritical because I'm writing a fantasy series right now, but like we need more standalone fantasy books.
I
Even
might
though
put
she
out a
wrote a
novella.
sequel to it, I'm like, oh man, come on.
I
You
have a
had it.
novella idea that I've started working on, but it's very early stages. And now that it is somewhat meant as a prequel to a series I want to start, but it does stand on its own, or at least that's the goal. The goal is going to be for it to stand on its own as a bit of a heist, a fantasy heist novella.
Mm.
Um, but we'll see, we'll see. But that said, yeah, I find it would be fun. It would be a fun challenge to write a good standalone. But knowing me, my standalones would be freaking giant. That'd be my
I was
danger.
talking with someone the other day. He was talking about how they don't like heist narratives, and I'm like, how?
Yeah,
It was
no,
probably Steve. It was
probably
probably
Steve.
Steve.
Yes,
You know what? That's
I'm
probably Steve.
so proud of how quickly that took off. Well,
Yeah, I thought you were actually talking about like an actual person, but then I'm like, you know what? I think this is
that
just
was
a
part of
rep.
the goal.
I
Part
think
of
this
the
was just
goal.
like I think this is just a representation of dumb reader comments that
Yeah,
he's gotten over the years.
yeah. But that's what made it work so well is that so many people saw these hilariously dumb comments and they were like, "Who is Steve?" Everyone thought it was a real person, which made it more fun. And whenever someone asked me, "Who is this Steve guy? Like, do you actually know this guy?" I would say, "Oh, just some guy." That was my go-to response. So everyone's thought I tried to feed into it and make people think this was someone real for as long as I could, just to add to the fun. And it just took off because eventually people caught on. Okay, this is kind of a meme. This is a collective just dumb takes. That was the idea, just dumb book takes, but also even just dumb takes in general, and it caught on pretty quick. I was very
Yeah,
happy.
I think I commented on a few of them. I don't remember which ones I commented on, but
Yeah, there's some good ones. There were some good ones back there.
yeah, or maybe were you talking about like the whole men weren't reading thing before that kind of blew up on BookTube?
Uh, no, I remember that was one I kind of stayed out of. I
Okay, I was like, I think it was something like I'll have to look on Twitter later, find it. But
yeah, I think funny enough, one of those Steve posts got me my chance to judge for. Yeah, I just found a few examples.
oh yeah, no, I think it was revenge stories where they're saying like revenge stories
Yes.
suck, and I'm like, no, they
Yeah. Oh
don't.
no. And these were quotes I had gotten. So I think I
No,
have
they
them here.
don't. Revenge
I
stories
said,
can be
don't write
very
stories.
cathartic.
Well, so this was the Steve quote, and this is very, very close to a real quote that I got from more than one person on different occasions. So I just lightly combined them, but
Uh-huh.
very, very in line with what people have said. So I said, don't write stories with revenge plots. They're overdone, and they'll have a damaging influence on readers unless they strictly warn against the consequences. That sounds ridiculous. That's almost word for word in two different
Yeah, that seems kind
people.
of obvious, you know. Look,
But
yeah,
also,
revenge isn't like a good thing, but it feels good, you know. Like, come on.
yeah, well, and my point, what I said in response to that was, look, Steve, we may need to take a break. Policing stories is the surest way to limit their power. And I know too many good revenge stories that, you know, you let the consequences speak for itself, you know? And sometimes you don't even have to. It's okay to have a story that just is a feel good revenge. Those exist and they're kick ass. I think
Mm.
you need space for that, for those crossing the line stories, because those have impact as well, and those teach us a different side of ourselves. I don't like policing stories in that sense.
Yeah, like John Wick is a perfectly good movie
Yeah,
about a guy who loses his dog and goes on a rampage to
yeah,
take
it's
down
freaking
Theon
glorious.
Greyjoy, and it feels good
Yeah,
when he shoots him in his stupid face, you know.
yep. Part of me, I think, I loved the fourth movie. The fourth movie I thought wrapped it up really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
But originally, I didn't really like two and three because I
Mm.
thought they were almost like an overcorrection. One, trying to overextend what I felt didn't need to be extended,
Mm.
and two, it was like all the people who were like, no revenge. We need to make sure the audience knows revenge is bad. It's like they all came in and said we need to do a sequel to this because too many people enjoyed John Wick too much. And I'm like, no, screw off. I'm allowed to enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I did think four was a little bloated, especially in the like third act. It's like, oh,
Fair.
okay, like it's kind of bad when you're like getting kind of exhausted with all the action sequences.
Yeah, that is true, and I do get that, especially
I
from
remember me and my dad were sitting and watching it, and he like fell out of a building and like crashed in a car, and he just gets up and limps off, and my dad's like, okay.
yeah, yeah, John Wick.
I'm like, well, they call him the Baba Yaga dad, you know. He's yeah. What are
Yeah,
you
but
gonna
no,
do?
the thing is, even just the lore, you know,
Yeah,
the
I know,
first
right?
movie,
Like the
the
world
first
building
movie just
in those
hinted at
movies are
it.
great.
Well, no, that's my thing. Is what the first movie did right is it hinted at this bigger world, but it left it mysterious, and you just got a taste of it, and that's all it needed to be. I
Hmm.
thought they focused so much on the overcomplicated, assassin underworld in the next three movies. They got away from just the simplicity of a guy with a gun kicking ass, and
Hmm.
there's something to be said for that simplicity as opposed to overemphasis on
The rules.
well, yeah, it stopped feeling like a real possible world. It
Hmm.
started to feel too much like its own.
Well, I mean, I dug it because I love world building stuff. You know, like give me that all day.
I'll always be mixed. It depends on what I'm watching. It
Give me all
like
the weird lore and rules. You know, like I'm all down for that. No.
I like that in sci-fi and I like that in fantasy. Um, to throw it into a modern context needs to be done well. I mean, you know what? Maybe that says something though, because I tend to shy away from urban fantasy.
That's
Urban
true. Yeah.
fantasy doesn't do
Though,
it
like
for me.
John Wick isn't really fantasy. It's like it's like an
No, it's not.
action crime movie
Yeah,
series.
but that's my point. Is it almost got fantastical
Yeah.
in movies 2, 3, and 4, where movie one felt believable. It
Hmm.
wasn't, but it felt believable.
Hmm.
which I kind of like. That has an appeal to me. And I say that as a fantasy author who just goes absolutely nuts, so I can't judge, but I'm also very explicit about this is fantasy. There are dragons and magic, and and people are going nuts with different kinds of power, and that very early on. You set the expectation early on in anything you write or anything you produce, any story. You want to fulfill the promise you make to your reader or your viewer early on, right? So when you change too much, it can work. Some sequels, pivot very well away from where they start, and it is doable. It's not. I felt like John Wick didn't do it well, but some people disagree with me clearly. So, I mean, and overall, they're good movies.
Yeah, no, I enjoy them. I mean, I don't enjoy them as much as like The Raid, but they're pretty. They're like the American Raid, for lack of a
Fair.
better word. I don't know if you've
That's
ever
good.
watched The Raid or The Raid
A
2.
little bit, yeah.
Incredible action movies, but yeah, no, John, like again, kind of like what I was saying, like when you feel kind of exhausted with the action, that's kind of when you're like, okay, something's wrong here.
Yeah. As somebody who likes action, if I'm bored from the act, yeah, then you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, get to it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I agree. I think they wrapped it up pretty well,
Yeah, I was happy by the end. So again, just a good example of revenge done well. And other times, like Count of Monte Cristo, still my favorite book. One of my 3 or 4 favorite books for sure. And there's a case of very satisfying revenge with a bittersweet ending, and some of that moral lesson, but it's not beating you over the head with it. You feel the
I mean, I thought
painful
it was kind of obvious the like bad consequences of it when he accidentally kills the kid, but
in the original version, you mean? Or yeah,
yes.
Count of Monte Cristo. I'm trying. Yeah, has it been that long since I've read it?
Or no, somebody else. I think it was one of the guys he was taking revenge on. Went nuts, killed his kid, and then killed himself. And he's like,
Yeah. So now that comes out much
oh.
stronger in the book than in the main movie, or the movie that comes to mind for me is the one with Jim Caviezel.
Yeah,
which I love, and that one has a much more. There are none of those extreme consequences. Like he almost kills his own son, but he doesn't. And ultimately, the bad guy dies, and he gets his happily ever after, right? And renounces his revenge at the end. We see that. So there's kind of that element of repentance to it. Yeah, which funny enough, in some ways, I liked that ending more than the book. But don't get me wrong, the book is still the ultimate standard. But yeah, anyways, like there are different ways.
I haven't read the Count of Monte Cristo in years, so
Yeah.
Going off of my very long, I do remember that scene where that happens.
Did you ever read Les Mis? We might have even talked about this last time, so I'm sorry.
I've not read it. I've seen the musical though.
Ooh.
Not like
have you seen
not the actual musical, but the movie version. Yeah.
Well, there's the movie musical with like come on, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the pure movie one? No music. Well, it has music obviously, but not singing. But the movie version with Jeffrey Rush and Liam Neeson.
I've not.
Oh, that to me is infinitely better. The new one sucks by comparison, and I'll die on that. I will die on that hill. The Hugh Jackman version, I love all the actors, but the movie sucks. And the original is with Liam Neeson as Jean Valjean, and it is freaking incredible.
Wait, who plays Javert?
Jeffrey Rush.
Oh, okay.
So Captain Barbossa, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Barbossa.
He's so good as Javert. He puts, and I love Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is probably my favorite actor. So I say this with all the respect in the world, but Jeffrey Rush is by far a better Javert. It's just night and day.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that at some point.
You have to. It's so good. It'll wreck you, but it's so good. It's just one of the best movies I know. Like, it's one of
I remember my issue with the movie is that like the pacing was really like. I have so many issues with.
For me. Some of them can't sing.
I have so many issues with pacing nowadays in movies because it's like they always feel sped run.
Yeah,
like
fair.
they always feel like a speed run,
Yeah.
which was nice because when I saw the movie Sinners and it's like this, it's very slow, methodical pace. I'm like, oh my god, yes, more movies should do this.
You want to talk
Yes.
about crap pacing, but also just crap movie in particular. I don't know what made me want to watch this. I just had to. I saw it. I thought I have to watch this again. I know it's bad. I know I'm jumping headfirst into a like C plus max movie, but it's just too much of my childhood. Even though it totally shatters it, but I had to. Dragon Ball Evolution. Have you seen that?
I remember seeing that. I remember parts of, I think I saw it in theaters with my grandmother.
Mm,
And
no.
I was so confused on what was going on. Like, if I
Yeah.
recall right, there's one scene where a dude is like, "Put your finger in that. I don't want my piranha dying." And he like puts his finger into the tank and gets bitten off. It could be a different movie completely, but I thought it was
I think
Dragon
that might
Ball
be a different
Evolution.
movie. That
I'm just like, what
might be a
is
different
this?
one. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
No, oh, it was so. Oh man, it had potential, but one, I think it was low budget, and two, it was just a total flop. But now, originally I was because Dragon Ball Z was my childhood, so seeing it butchered like that originally, I was just so furious. And now going back to it, it's just a funny movie. It's just so bad that you can't stop laughing. And so I had a really I think that was just 2 or 3 nights ago. Again, burnt out, so I was like, I need a break, and I saw that. I thought, yes, something I don't have to think about. I could just watch this stupid movie and have a good laugh. And it was so satisfying. But again, pacing just terrible. Just every like just oh. Some of the martial arts were fun, and it has a great cast. It had all the potential in the world, and then it was just brutal. Oh, so bad.
Yeah, I'm like, if I recall right, the guys who made that, like, they wrote some of like the best episodes of the X Files. I have no idea what happened there, but
I think that's right. Yeah, like it's one of those things where just no one knows how it went so badly. Like,
like what
spoiler
happened?
for anyone who's watched it, but Goku goes, into his ape sane form, and it's this small, terrible looking bad CGI. You know, like he's barely bigger than he was as a human when in his ape form, and you're like, this looks terrible. Like, what is this? And he's barely doing any damage. He's supposed to be like big as a skyscraper, King Kong style, blowing things up. And no, he's this. All right, so that was terrible. Piccolo, the actor for Piccolo, I think James Marsters, is that right?
Oh yeah, I met him. Yeah, I met him at a con long
No
time ago.
way.
Yeah, I
Yeah, like
did.
he's great. He now, if I'm thinking right, I want to say he was in Smallville as what's it called, the robot guy. I'm butchering Brainiac. He
I was
was.
about
I
to say
want to say.
Brainiac.
Let me see if I have this right.
He also does the audiobooks for Dresden, if I recall right.
No way.
Yeah.
That might have just blown my. Are you serious? Wow. That I did not know. No way.
I knew him. It was kind of funny because like most people know him from like Dresden or Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I knew him from Torchwood because I was a big Doctor Who fan.
The other one.
I was a big Doctor Who fan like back in the day before it kind of
Fair.
went off. And Torchwood is I might dare say even better at times than like Doctor Who. But I'm a big Jack Harkness fan, so there you go. But Torchwood was really really good, and he's in it as kind of like Jack's former partner / dalliance back in the day, because Jack. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen Doctor Who or Torchwood at all, but
Not so much Torchwood. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes. Some Doctor Who.
when it was
Not like tea,
well,
but
it was
fun.
funny. Like when I met him, like he was really excited to talk about Torchwood. I was like, man,
That's
big fan
funny.
of Torchwood, and he's like, I like that show too. I'm really sad that got canceled. I'm like, oh my god, this dude's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, like he's one of the greats that seems unsung sometimes. But you're right, Spike from Buffy, and this is blowing my mind, the fact that he narrated the Dresden Files. Holy crap. Yeah, because he's a fun actor. And yeah, I'll always remember him, Brainiac from Smallville. But then the fact that he plays Piccolo in Dragon Ball is just so weird. Like it's everything about that movie is so bad that it's good, and so it's just bad. But that's what's mind blowing.
But it's like it's fun. It's like a fun kind of bad.
Yeah. But you also like you've seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, right?
I have not, but I know of it. I know. I need to watch it. It's like the
Yeah,
great. It's like one of the greatest like martial arts films of all time.
the greatest martial arts film of all time. Yeah, and Chow Yun Fat from that is in this too. Like this was a jam packed cast. Emmy Rossum, who I love, she's fantastic. Like, it was just a very full cast, and they couldn't have. I don't know.
Wow, so that's some really capable. What did happen to Dragon Ball Evolution? That
They
man.
totally flopped it. Yeah, whenever I look at the cast, it just blows my mind that this movie flopped as much as it did because it had so much potential. But
I
I don't
mean, I'm
know.
not. I wouldn't call myself the biggest Dragon Ball fan because I mean, I've watched like the Frieza arc and I enjoyed that quite a bit
Fair.
and some of the other like Dragon Ball stuff. But like, I'm really picky with anime because like a lot of it gets really silly really fast, which I
Yeah,
get is probably intentional because you know Japan is it's a much different culture over there.
yeah, yeah. I can
Though
only.
I finally watched the first season of the live action One Piece adaptation
Okay,
because I
okay.
have some friends of mine who just love One Piece. It's like, oh my god, One Piece, you gotta check it out. And I'm like, whatever. It doesn't really look like my thing. And I ended up watching the live action show, and it was actually pretty good. Also,
Yeah.
very stacked cast, and I thought it was actually pretty good. You know, and apparently it
Did
was
you
made by
watch
the.
the live action Avatar?
I watched the first couple episodes, and I thought like it was fine. But I'm like, it's not the animated show. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
it's
see, but
not the
that the
movie.
animated show I never got into.
No,
Uh,
that's it's not the movie.
yeah, that's the thing. That was my thought. It's better than the movie, not as good as the show. That
You know,
seems what everyone.
here's a funny story. You'll like this one. I actually first encountered Avatar through the movie. Me and my grandma went to see it
Okay, yeah.
years ago, and I watched. I was like, yeah, it was okay. And I ended up watching the show, and I ended up watching the movie again, and I'm like, oh, I see why that's so bad now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get, yeah, exactly. Some things that, well, it's harder to do in a movie format because it's a whole show and the
hmm
season of a show you're trying to compress into a
Well,
short
sure,
movie.
yeah.
That's tough. The show, overall, I was a bit bored at times. It was okay. It had one episode I remember when they finally show Prince Zuko's backstory. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
know
later
it
in the
can.
season. It's later in the season, so you might not have seen it. It's very good. Otherwise, the whole season I found boring and stale.
Are
But
you
that
talking about
episode,
the live action or the animated show?
I'm talking. Oh, sorry, I'm talking about the live action.
Oh, okay. I was about to say
Yeah,
like I was about to say like I
for
think
the
the
show, his arc is
I was about to say I think
everyone
the animated
raves
show
about
is
how good
like
it
I was
is.
about to say I think the animated show it's like fourth episode when we get into his backstory, but you know
Yeah, oh yeah, they build his backstory very soon in the
yeah
show.
no sadly there isn't like the ham of what's the dude's name who plays Zuko. I think it's Dante Brosco if I remember right. Like
Can't remember.
one of my favorite scenes is when we first see him and Iroh just hanging out, and he's like, Prince Zuko, why don't you come down for some nice calming tea? He just
Mm.
turns around and goes, but I don't need any calming tea. And it's like it's so funny. I'm just
Yeah,
like, oh my god. I used to think it was a meme back in the day, but then I rewatched it a few years ago. Nope, that's how it's actually like blocked. It's
yeah,
hilarious. I'm just like, oh my lord, that is so funny.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I talk to a lot of friends who keep watching every new anime that comes out, and me, the only two I've really watched, I think, again, Dragon Ball was probably the last one I watched when I was young enough for it. You know, I aged out of Dragon Ball Z, kind of like you. Maybe not. I think past Frieza. I think the Cell arc. So after Frieza, kind of
Oh
the next
yeah, yeah.
after Cell and the androids. I remember those, and then I remember I stopped watching mid Boo when they introduced. And don't get me started about names in Dragon Ball Z. It's a whole other Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and all the characters named after like musical instruments like Piccolo, or the underwear family.
Goku and
Well, no,
Krillin
no, so
and
that's all hero based. Like Goku, I think means hero or something like that. Gohan, I think son of hero. Anyways, but Bulma is a Bulma Briefs is her name. So and that's a brand of underwear. Vegeta is another brand of underwear. Trunks literally means underwear. Yeah, yeah. If you look into the names
I
of
didn't put that
characters,
together.
yep,
I didn't know that. That's so
yep.
funny.
Oh, some of the names in Dragon Ball Z, when you actually look into it, are hilarious.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah. Anyways, but branching from that, I think since then it was years without any anime, and then I had a roommate in college who loved Death Note.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Death Note. That was the first anime I really liked. Was
yeah,
Death Note.
well, there was kind of this phase of much darker, more adult anime that started coming out, and I feel like Death Note was kind of at the forefront of that, and that I can appreciate. Same with Full Metal, Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I still need to read that. A lot of people are like, "Oh man, Full Metal Alchemist," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, whatever."
It
I
was
watched.
dark, but it was fun. I appreciated that. Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
fun.
mean, I watched Monster, which is based on a manga.
Okay.
That's a really good show. Very dark, very like, not too dark, but it is dark. It doesn't have as much of the anime-isms that I dislike a lot, where everyone's like yelling incoherently for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, like
I think those isms are why I just can't really get into it
it took
anymore.
itself seriously, but it wasn't like,
Mm,
super stuffy, kind of like Cowboy Bebop in that way, where it's,
okay.
very like it took itself seriously for the most part. There's some fun parts of it, like the fight scenes and whatnot, but Cowboy Bebop anyway.
Yeah.
But like it mostly was serious,
Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
And look, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm like anti silly or anything. Like I like me some silly stuff from time to time, but I don't know. It's just the Japanese brand of just weird.
I get it. I do. I've kind of
I don't know
I'm
what
the
they
same.
do
I've kind
over
of
there.
drifted
I don't know
away.
how they tap into that id or muse or whatever you want to call it, but they're on a different plane of existence over there.
It is true. Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong. It's fascinating because so many great mediums come out of there. Well, yeah, mediums for one, and like video games, classics,
That's
absolute
true. Yeah,
classics.
they do make some great video games. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I have some
So
fond memories of playing Smash Bros at one of my
yes.
old churches.
Yeah. Good times. And Zelda. I mean, Zelda's originally Japanese too, isn't
Oh,
it?
is it? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Are they right? I feel like yes. At least some of them. Don't quote me on that, super nerds, and don't get mad.
All right.
Yeah. Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I never got into Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
I
I was
remember
right at the age for
even my
that when I was much younger.
even my mom she always told me, she's like, you never got into Pokemon. You always
Funny.
hated Pokemon. And I was like, well, damn, I'm still not into Pokemon.
Fair.
There's that episode of South Park where they poke fun at Pokemon. I'm like, wow, that's kind of. I mean, I don't think they're trying to brainwash kids to take over the world, but yeah, I think it's a bit silly. But
It was fun at the time, but nowadays, like things like Pokemon Go, I don't understand. I don't understand how that blew up. I don't. Watching like talking to people as they're walking around trying to catch Pokemon on the street, like literally physically on their phone, walking around trying to find hot spots to. I'm just no. You know, no. Just no. Just absolutely no. I'm
yeah, no, I'm
absolutely
the same
judging
way.
that.
I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. It's
Yeah.
not my thing. Just backing out from that.
There was no nostalgia element in that at all for me. Some people were like, "Oh, but this is Pokemon. It's Pokemon." I'm like, no,
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
like
That's
maybe
what Game Boys were for, and Pokemon cards, and the show, and that was it. That was drawing the line right there.
maybe it was because it was live action on the One Piece, but like it was well, for one, it actually felt like the people who were making it like cared about the source
Mm,
material and wanted to do it right, but they
that's
understood that they
huge.
couldn't just like recreate the anime. Because I've watched clips of the anime, and there's a lot of the like anime-isms that I'm not like fond of, like overly yelling and
Yeah.
you know very dramatic acting. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah,
It's
drives me nuts. Yep.
like
That's a tough line to.
Even Dragon Ball kind of does that sometimes. When they're
Oh,
like
are you
powering
kidding,
up,
Dre? Like, there are entire episodes of just
people
like
powering up.
yeah, just powering up a single attack, like an entire episode of just Kamehameha. Like
That's
no,
why
yeah,
that's why the abridged version was so fun, because it's like
yeah,
it pokes, like it's clear that the people who made it like Dragon Ball, but they're still like poking fun at it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it made it fun for me as someone who doesn't really care for that kind of like anime, you know,
Fair.
you know, that kind of, you
Yeah.
know,
But yeah,
you
the
know.
thing about making any live remaster of anything, whether it's a video game or an anime, is that it's tricky because they are different mediums.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel for those doing it because you do have to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it can be hard to please an audience if you make any change, and you kind of have to. But then at the same time, too much change is, yeah, going to destroy the original story. So that's a tough balance. How do you balance respect for the source material with the needs of the medium and with creative
Also, from
input?
what my friend who's a big One Piece fan who showed it to me told me, they condensed a lot of it
Mm,
down. So, I mean, I thought it worked. I mean, again, I'm probably saying this as, you know, someone who isn't familiar with One Piece, the anime or the manga.
fair.
But
Yeah.
from what I've heard, most of the fans were actually like fine with it. So,
Mm.
you know, glad
Which is
I'm
a good
not.
test. You know,
It was like the anti Cowboy Bebop because, you know, I love
mm,
Cowboy Bebop and live action. I'm like, I'm not watching it because it's probably gonna suck. And guess
yeah.
what? It did. Though
Did you watch
apparently,
Witcher? Did you get into Witcher?
I watched the first season. I
Okay.
liked it. I watched part of the second season. The first episode of season 2, which is the like Beauty and the Beast riff,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was a phenomenal episode. I don't care what
Yeah.
people say about, you know. And I ended up reading the book and it just didn't hit me the same way, you know.
Fair.
It
Yeah,
was it
that's
was
fair.
weird.
That's
It was
fair.
weird, you know. I'm like, I thought the book would hit me in a similar way, but I was like, man, just like incredible performance by I his name's like Christoph like Hivju or something like that. He's Icelandic.
Mm.
I know him as Tormund from Game of Thrones. So like, I
Okay.
mean,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Tormund though, he was phenomenal in that role. Like you
Yeah.
felt bad for him, even though like, you know, he's not a good guy. And they like
Yeah. I agree.
recontextualize some things because like in the book, like it's kind of this dry, like they meet up and he's like, oh, I did these bad things back in the day and I got turned into this beast. And Geralt's like, eh, you kind of deserved it though. And I'm just like,
Fair.
I'm just like, what is
Whereas
this?
this, you're seeing it. You're actually discovering
What is
pieces
that?
that happened.
Like
Yeah.
here, it's like, and they kind of changed it a little bit. Like they were like friends, you know, they were friendly with each other. They knew each other.
Yeah. It worked. No, I'm with you. I really liked that episode. It was intense. It was in a good way. It was a good way to start off the season.
I didn't get around to watching the rest of it because you know
Fair.
I was you know other stuff came up.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know. I think I've watched it all, but I remember being, yeah, underwhelmed overall by the rest of season 2 and 3 now. Some good parts for sure, but season 1, that kind of storytelling I will always love. I was really impressed by, because they're leaping back from not just perspective to perspective, but also time to time, and you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to piece it together as you go along to realize what's happening in the
You
past,
kind of
what's
like the
happening.
Nolan-y kind of, you know, I call it
Yeah,
Nolan-y
I
for.
love that kind of storytelling. I really do. It's kind of it's hard to pull off well. It's very hard to pull
Yeah,
off
no,
well, but
I was
respect to those who do.
I know we talked about Christopher Nolan a bit last time we
Mm,
were on here, but I have you heard he's doing an Odyssey adaptation?
I have, yeah, yeah.
Like
I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll
I'm
see what
curious
happens.
to see what he'll do because it's like you
Yeah.
know
At
it's
first, I
kind of
wasn't
like if
sure.
someone adapted the Bible. You're like, how are you gonna do that? You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there too, there have been interesting adaptations, but for the Odyssey, it's like, is
Maybe
he
the
going
maybe the
to?
Bible's a bad example because there's been a lot of biblical movies and shows
Yeah.
over the years. What's another famous story? Beowulf. Though they did, you know what
Okay. Yeah.
they did a Beowulf movie though. So,
Well, I'm even thinking direct comparison would be like the fact that we've already seen Troy done, right?
oh
In
yeah.
different versions.
Talk
So
about
we've
a
already
unintentionally hilarious movie, Troy. Troy
yeah.
Troy's one of my favorite like just really silly films, like those like super melodramatic movies, you know.
Yeah, I'll always have mixed feelings about that Troy because it tried to be kind of a follow. It tried to come on the heels of like Lord of the Rings, right? It tried to have that level of epicness,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, definitely silly is right for a few key parts, and that took away from it. Overall, I still really liked it, And I mean the duel between Brad Pitt's, Achilles and Hector, and Eric Bana, is that right?
Yeah,
Eric
I
Bana,
think so. Yeah, he was Hector.
Hector. Freaking, that was a freaking
That
cool
that was
fight.
dope. Yeah, that was cool.
There were some badass moments in that. And
Also, Brian
Achilles
Cox
taking
is
the
in it, and
beach.
he just plays this. He knew the. He's one of those. He's kind of like Ian McDiarmid in the Star Wars prequels. Like he knew the
Yeah.
assignment. Like he knew what he was doing. Like he was like, all right, this is just gonna be a hammy villain. I'm just gonna have fun with it, and it's great.
Now we're talking about Agamemnon,
Yeah,
or
no,
which?
Agamemnon. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? What's that actor's name again?
Brian Cox.
Yes, Brian Cox. I love Brian Cox. He's one of those. I went years not really piecing together all these different roles he's been in and done so well. Whenever he plays a Russian, like in Red,
Oh
like
yeah.
that blows me away, because then you see him in something like Born, the
Oh
first two
yeah,
Born
yeah,
movies,
yeah. He's great
and
in those.
he has such great range for you would expect him, I don't know, to be a static actor, and he's just incredible. He has such great range.
Yeah, no, but yeah, he's great in Troy. I enjoyed him a lot because he's basically
Yeah,
like, all right, this is silly. I'm gonna have fun with it.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he like you said, he knew the assignment and he pulled it off.
Yeah, and like Brad Pitt just looks kind of annoyed to be there.
Yeah,
Like you watch
which
his
makes it
perform.
great. That's such a great kind of twist. So that's my thinking is
I'm like,
I
poor Brad Pitt. Like he like, yeah, man.
I mean that role did a lot for Brad Pitt
That's
though.
true.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
Now, what's going to be interesting is for the Odyssey, right? They're kind of following on the heels of that. There was also the Netflix series Troy, Fall of a City.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
now that one's kind
Because
of
the
more.
last Odyssey adaptation, you want a hilariously bad. You want to talk about hilariously bad. The Odyssey adaptation of the '90s is hilarious.
Is that like the Space Odyssey one,
No, no, no,
or
no,
no?
no,
There is an
no. The
actual
Odyssey.
Odyssey
No, the
adaptation.
Odyssey. It's about
Huh.
Odysseus. Yeah, it's maybe you can find it on like YouTube or something. It
I'll
is
have to look it up.
absolutely hilarious. Like it's just
Yeah. Okay.
very bad special effects, very hammy acting.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah.
I
So
watched
like,
it in high school, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this is not good, but this is fun."
yeah.
No, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Nolan will do because he's always been a very bold
I was waiting for
filmmaker.
confirmation because there were different theories going around for a while whether he was going to do more of a semi-realistic adaptation of the story. So there would be sort of explainable things in the place of actual monsters and the sirens
Mm-hmm.
the or is it actually going to be fantastical in the original sense of the story? Are we actually going to see real monsters? Uh, I don't know if they've confirmed which way it's going to lean yet.
I did hear though that like they might use a puppet for like one of the creatures. Maybe it's
Okay, so we are going to see creatures then. Yeah,
yeah.
that's my thought. That's what I
So
wanted to.
I'm only talking about rumors here. So I mean,
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who really likes the Odyssey. He's like, oh man, you know who'd be a great Odysseus? Tom Hardy. And I was like, oh my god, yes. And
Yeah.
then he's like Matt Damon. I'm like, okay, yeah, he can. You know what? I like Matt Damon. Talk
Yep.
about the Bourne movies.
I can
He's
definitely.
fantastic in
I'm
those.
with you. Tom Hardy would be amazing, but I can live with Matt Damon. He's a decent actor.
And Tom Holland is gonna play his son. I'm like, all right,
Yep.
cool. Yeah, we'll
Yep. I
see
like
how
Tom
that
Holland.
goes.
Yep.
He's got a
Yeah,
bunch
it's
of
got a pretty
people
good cast.
casted in that movie. I'm like, oh man, I hope it doesn't collapse on itself. But like after Oppenheimer, I guess he's just like, you know what, wing it on a prayer.
Well, we can have prayer, but he has the catalog at this point to back
That's
him up,
true.
and he
Yeah, that's true.
reuses a lot of actors, which is good too. He goes
I don't
into
think he's
most
made a
movies.
bad movie. I think the weakest film from him is Tenet. But even then,
Yeah,
like the action sequences in that movie were incredible. Even if I
yeah.
was
Teddy
like,
was still pretty good, but I know what you mean. Like I wouldn't call it as strong. I had mixed feelings about was it Dunkirk.
oh
Um,
yeah,
that's the one that didn't do it as well for me. It did what it set out to do well. It just wasn't a Nolan level incredible movie, by comparison to his other works.
yeah. No, I mean
For me.
it's like my like standard for Nolan, which we kind of talked about a little bit, but like The Dark Knight and The Prestige. Like for
Yeah.
me, those are his two best movies. Like
Yeah. Prestige, I
Inception's
love
good,
that.
but I mean Inception's a great movie, but like I'm sorry, Prestige blows that out of the water as far as
I
I'm
agree.
concerned. Like
Yeah.
such a good movie.
Yeah.
Like as far as I'm aware, that's his best movie he's ever made.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard one to top. It was so
I
good.
know. I'm just like,
I still
oh
go
man.
back to it every once in a while. So yeah.
Don't get me wrong though. I like Inception. I think it's a good movie. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, man, I just like the Prestige more, you know.
Yeah. I feel like there was another, and I mean, you know what? I will say, I think we might have even talked about it last time, but Interstellar, I think every time I go back to it, I appreciate it a little more.
Mm.
So that's one
I
that
need
I
to
think
see it again at some point
underpraised.
because I remember liking it, but I thought because I know people say that like Nolan is kind of like a not a cold director, but you know he can be kind of not mechanical. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Heavy-handed by the book.
heady. We'll say that very heady.
Okay, yes,
Like
conceptual focused. Yeah.
like there's not as much like feelings in his work. I mean there is feelings and there is emotion, but it's not like it's not like a Spielberg movie.
Okay.
Get what I
Yeah.
mean? But I thought like with Interstellar you kind of overdid it with the emotion where it kind of came off as a
Uh,
bit sappy towards the end.
okay. Yeah, I get
Like his
that.
daughter's like, "Oh, I knew you'd come back for me," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, all right."
I
Look,
loved
I'm,
that.
it was
But
one of
fair
it was
enough.
one
I
of
get it.
no, it wasn't like it wasn't a bad scene, but it was one of those like, okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Love lasts through time. I got it. You know what? Actually, that might actually make him. Thinking of that, that might actually make him very good to do the Odyssey because the Odyssey's all about that.
Yeah.
This guy just trying to get home after
Yeah.
this war, and it's just a debacle.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough. I think what happened there, what made the emotion not hit as well, was that we had this massive, long, protracted buildup of the tension between them and the distance between them, and just how much time has
Now, the
passed.
scene when he discovers how much time has passed, Matthew McConaughey's character, I should say,
Yeah.
that's really well done. I really
Yeah.
liked that. Like, I thought that was really. And I was just like, whoa, like how, like that, that
What
got a
about
little
when the daughter
existential.
discovers, that Michael Caine's character has deceived them all, and that there was no plan for them to come back after all or save them?
Yeah.
That scene to me, that was like a dark twist. And you just see her dark turn towards bitterness and leaving the message for Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey's characters,
Hmm.
right? Like that to me was the emotional peak, like, in a very dark way of
Yeah,
that movie.
I agree. I thought that was really well done. But like you said, it is a bit protracted.
Yeah, well, and then the problem is,
It
so they
wasn't
build
really
up
the
to that
scenes
sort of
itself that
high.
was a problem. It was just kind of like Nolan kind of banging the drum about like, love lasts through time and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, I got you. I got what you're saying. I love you, Chris. I know what you're saying. I get it.
Well, he does like to have one thing I think he does well is, even if it's not clear until the end, there's always kind of a central. He's one of the few who can do it well, where the story has not necessarily a central message, but a central core truth or theme,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I agree with this.
underlying principle. That's the right
Yeah.
word. He always has an underlying principle that once you finish the movie, you're like, oh, that, and it was all the way through. And he so yeah, sometimes maybe you could add more elements to it
Yeah,
rather
I
than
mean,
heavy.
but I thought it was like better done in stuff like The Dark Knight or, The
Yeah,
Prestige because like The Prestige is all about like obsession, kind of going
yeah,
with, principle.
yeah.
Um and
Like
how
obsession to the point of your twin.
yeah.
Living the lie with your twin for that many
Yeah.
years. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
it's like yeah, no.
next level. Yeah,
But like yeah, no, with Interstellar though, it's like it's very much like about love, I think.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is
And you're
like
right.
good, I generally
Overall,
like I mean,
maybe too heavy-handed.
I love Star Wars and like the whole theme of Star Wars is like, love can redeem, same thing with like Harry
Mhm.
Potter, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
and like, oh, look, I'm fine with that. Like, have a well-made movie. But again, I thought he was kind of banging the drum a little bit too much, and it kind of felt
okay.
like him going like, "See, I have emotions," and it's just kind of like, okay, like didn't I
Yeah, fair enough.
in my opinion, of course, there's probably going to be some people who are like, no, Nolan is yada yada. And I'm like, I'm not. Look, I like his movies. We were just talking about how good The Prestige is earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, looking forward to The Odyssey. I'm with you. Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It has a good cast. He has a great track record. So we'll see. For whatever reason, I think just I love both stories. I love the Iliad. I love the Odyssey, but not as much as I think some people. Like they're great stories, but they've
Or
never
yeah,
had
if
that
someone tried to
much.
make the Aeneid into a movie, or if someone tried to make like Dante's Divine Comedy into a movie,
Yeah,
it's like
like
how are you gonna do that? You know?
yeah, it's the how, and it's never had. I get the urge to do it, but it's not one that I necessarily follow. So I'll watch it out of curiosity, but I'm going in cautiously optimistic, but also not overly interested. I'm sure it'll be good. It's just again now it might blow our minds. So that's the thing. I would be excited for that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not. Hey, I would love nothing more than a well-made Odyssey movie.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna
What
be
about?
like.
Well, no, okay, I finished that, but then I
I
have
was gonna say
another
like
one.
I'd love nothing more than a well-crafted Odyssey movie. You know,
Yeah.
just do it right.
Well, speaking of, well, something. Well, maybe where my hesitation hits. How do you feel about the upcoming Superman?
Oh, again, cautiously optimistic. I was skeptical because like James Gunn is kind of he tends to do very well with if we're talking comic book characters. He generally tends to do well if he does like these kind of lesser known, kind of
Mm,
edgier characters, if you will. So he can kind of do his little off kilter thing
yeah,
with them.
like Guardians, right?
Yeah, Guardians. Yeah, and I mean, Guardians 3 was probably the best one out of them all. I
I
loved
love
Guardians
Guardians
3.
3.
That was a fantastic movie.
I
And
agree.
I was kind of like, I don't know if I don't know if his like brand of like snarky humor would work with Superman. But then I saw the trailer and I'm like, okay, he gets the tone, so I'll give
Yeah,
him a chance. All right, I'm feeling a bit more comfortable going like, okay, I think he could do this if he wanted. Now, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm looking forward, cautiously optimistic is what
yeah.
I'll say so
The
far.
initial teasers had me hesitant, and I love James Gunn, so I thought, you know what? I bet this will be at least good. Maybe not, mind blowing, but good.
Won't be
And the initial
Guardians 3.
teaser, sorry.
It won't be Guardians 3.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
Because I was
part
about
of
to
the
say,
thing
man, he
is
peaked with Guardians 3.
it was good. But the thing too
So,
is Superman to me doesn't. It seems weird for it to feel like an ensemble movie.
uh-huh.
And yet, when I saw some of those early teasers, you have one of the Green Lanterns, and you have all these different things happening. The dog, crypto being thrown in. It just there was so much thrown into this very short teaser. I thought, oh, this movie is going to be I'm always nervous about another Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
That's
You know
always the
what?
fear.
I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that. I'm always worried about. You know what? That's a very perfectly plausible thing to be worried about.
Well, it's why
Uh
I was terrified for Spider-Man No Way Home for
huh.
exactly that reason. But that movie delivered,
Uh huh.
right? So I
There were
think we
people
are
who were
really.
calling it forgettable. I'm like, are you for real? Like, get out of here. Like, get out of here with that.
Who called it forgettable?
Oh, someone on Twitter. I saw
Oh
that the
yeah,
other day, and I was like, get out of here. Like,
maybe Doctor Strange's spell worked on them and they forgot who
oh
he
yeah, yeah. I'm
was.
just
I mean, come
yeah,
on, that was a freaking amazing movie. I loved it.
yeah.
I
No,
went back
I
recently and I rewatched the Tobey Maguire, the first two originals, and then I watched the two Andrew Garfield's almost back to back, those four movies, and I thought, yes, when you've watched those again and then you watch No Way Home, it really brings it all together. They did a good job paying respects to the original Spider-Man.
yeah. No, it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I was. I'll admit, I was just kind of burned out on superhero movies for a
That's
while.
fair.
You
That's
know,
very fair.
because and not because the whole like superhero fatigue BS. It's just like there were a lot of really mediocre ones, and I'm just like I'm not doing this anymore. But
Yeah, there have been a big. That's the thing
there's
is
been a
I
big.
have gone
It's
to
not
theaters.
superhero movies I'm fatigued with. It's the mediocrity of superheroes that I've been fatigued by.
Yeah, I think a few of the Disney ones and a few of the well, so a few of the Disney Marvel ones and a few of the DC ones have been lackluster. One that gets underappreciated that I did really enjoy. I think I get why people don't like it, but for whatever reason, I love it. I rewatched it. And I thought this is even better than I thought when I watched it the first time. The Flash movie.
Huh. I've heard people. I I saw a trailer and I had that like Whedon Justice League cut like plastic look, and I was just like, oh man, like I don't want
I went in with rock bottom expectations. I really did. I thought it was
to.
going to suck, and I think I was just bored, and I thought, why not? And I was actually, I think because my expectations were very low, it helped. But it was, I thought, like just a good movie, and I showed it. I've showed it to friends who had the same surprising realization. Like I do cautiously recommend it. And Michael Keaton's Batman cameos,
Yeah.
oh, they deliver. They deliver. There are some very satisfying parts there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth at least one watch if you haven't. But
Yeah, I'll have to find that at some point. Maybe I'll watch it, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like Superman looks promising, and then the Fantastic Four looks promising. I have a soft spot for Fantastic Four because
I do, but I'm nervous for that one. That one I am very nervous for. We'll see.
yeah, I mean, I watched the teaser and I'm like, oh man, this looks like it has soul in it. There's like
Hmm.
there's people who care who are making this, or at least that's what it looks like to me. Maybe I'll watch it.
For
And I'll
the
be like,
original
oh,
teaser, I thought that. I thought I love the '60s vibe. I really loved the feel, and then the longer trailer. I
oh,
think
I haven't watched the longer trailer. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this teaser, and I don't want to watch anything else.
that's fair. That's fair. The trailer made me more nervous, but not so much that I won't give it a try eventually. Just
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a little nervous for that one by comparison. I think I'm more optimistic for Superman. Funny enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I really like I'm just hoping it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
It's like don't
Yeah. The bar is low.
I don't think I'm just like we can't get any worse than Four Stick. I mean, like
Then
I
say again. Then what?
the 2015 Fantastic Four
Oh,
movie with
yeah,
Miles Teller.
with Miles Teller and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't get any worse than that.
Yeah, I was disappointed. It had so much potential. I didn't mind any of the casting. I didn't mind the overall attempt at a story, but it just fell so flat.
Just
You
did a
know?
story.
Yeah,
It's my friend Jacob's least favorite superhero movie of all time. I'm like,
that's pretty
man.
bad. I
Yeah.
love all those action. I mean, Miles Teller has some great roles I've seen him in. Jamie Bell, right? Not
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jamie Bell. I love. He's amazing. Yeah, so it just felt very.
And Michael B. Jordan's in it. I'm like, Sinners he was in
Yeah, you're right.
Sinners.
Michael B. Jordan is the freaking yeah,
He's
What am
phenomenal
I saying?
in both roles in that movie.
Yeah.
Sinners anyway.
I still need to see Sinners. I really do. I love him though, so I'm definitely going to give that a chance when I can.
Yeah, I mean I watched oh man, what else did I watch? I've been watching a lot of movies. I watched the recent Mission Impossible film,
Okay. Yeah, Dead Reckoning.
which was called The Final Reckoning, but
Oh, so you watched the newest one?
yeah, the newest one, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, the final one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so
Yeah.
called final one.
I haven't
And
seen it yet, so.
it's I liked it a lot, but it was just
Hmm.
kind of like I feel like Nolan, we're kind of going back to Nolan here. I feel like Nolan's the only one who can kind of get away with the twist within the twist
Fair.
kind of story. Because
Yeah.
generally I dislike it. It makes things needlessly complicated, usually. Unless you're like Nolan, who just can put stuff in plain sight, and you're just like, whoa, like, oh, how did I not see that earlier?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when he's on form anyway, like the Prestige, like why the Prestige works, the like twist within the twist, is because like the twin is literally right there, like
Yeah.
he's in plain sight, like he's standing right there, you can see him. But anyway,
No, I'm right there with you. Yeah, so that's the thing. We all aspire to that level, but
and there was a little bit of that in Like, there's
Okay.
moments like it flashes back to other things. He's like, okay, so here's the plan. And it's like, and he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's like, dude, like, don't make it that complicated. Just,
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah,
movie.
I
It was a
think
solid
with
movie,
the
though. Like,
first movie, I got that like not the first Mission Impossible, the one right before. So Dead Reckoning and then
yeah,
Final
I was about to
Reckoning.
say
Like
Dead
Dead
Reckoning had
Reckoning.
the same problem where
Yeah,
it's just
I
like,
agree.
it's like,
To
oh,
me,
there's a twist on top of the twist. And then there's another one. You're just like, oh my God, dude.
they feel like a very different direction for Mission Impossible than Fallout, which I really enjoyed.
That was a really good one. My favorite is still 4. I really liked.
Mm,
I like Brad Bird for one thing, but I also really liked like the cast. I thought was really good in that movie.
yeah,
Like, you
I
actually
agree.
like gave a shit. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
because you
like,
had
oh, here's
you had
Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise things. You know, he was doing some crazy Tom Cruise things, but you know, like like everyone felt balanced out. You know, like,
yeah.
Jeremy Renner's character
I
had
was
like
gonna
a
say
little
4 was our first
mim.
taste of Jeremy Renner, right?
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah,
he had his little mini arc. I really like that. You
yeah,
know.
I agree. Very satisfying when that all
Yeah,
came together at the end. And
yeah,
I always forget her first name, but Patton, who was on the team with them too, and then Benny, obviously.
yeah.
Sean, what's his name?
Yeah,
Come on,
Simon Pegg. He's always
Simon
great.
Pegg. Yeah, I love Simon Pegg. He's just the king.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, it was a great
fantastic.
cast, great team. They did that very well.
I'm like, man,
And it
and
was nice.
it was really sad because he doesn't show up at all in the last couple movies. I'm like, where did Jimmy Renner go? Jeremy Renner go? That was a
Oh, Jeremy
great
Renner. Yeah,
character.
yeah,
He was in like he was in I think he was in Fallout, or was he in
I think so. Uh,
what was the one with he was in I think he was in Fallout. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna double check that. Yes, I want to say yes. So I was surprised he was. You're right. He wasn't in uh, Dead Reckoning, was he?
I'm like, that's a great character. Why'd you get rid of him? I guess
Yeah.
they didn't have enough people for the movie. I don't know, but like, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Was it? Did you hear about? This made me laugh.
Then again, he did have that accident like in 2023, so
Yeah, that's
maybe
the thing. That contributed.
maybe Tom Cruise was like, "Hey man, rest up. We'll just do these other movies, and you know, you just focus on recovering." And Jeremy Renner was probably like, "Cool."
Well, speaking of which, did you? Yeah, no, I don't know. They don't even show him there. That's interesting. But there was this hilarious clip that came out talking about season 2 of Hawkeye, relating
Oh
to that
yeah,
accident. Did you see that?
I didn't even know they were gonna make a season 2.
Well, that's the thing is they wanted him to come on. They wanted it to be, I think, twice the length of the first season, and they
Mhm.
wanted to pay him this essentially the same amount. So they wanted to pay him half.
Yeah, and he was like, "No."
Yeah, not a chance. Are you nuts? Like, he's like, what do you think? Because of this accident, I'm half the Jeremy Renner I was. It
Yeah,
was so good.
that
He
was
was
great.
so snarky. Just I
So
love.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That was just a
I'm like, you
great.
know what? We need more of that in Hollywood because
I
like
agree.
there's too much of people just saying yes to things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we
That
need
was
more people knowing their worth in Hollywood.
yeah, showing some backbone and being fun about it. He nailed it. I thought that was a
Yeah,
great
no,
look
I'm
for
just like
Jeremy Renner.
I mean, I thought the first season was like that was kind of when I dipped off from the MCU because I was like, all right,
Yeah,
yeah, they're kind of
I was bored.
okay. I'm just kind of Endgame. They really peaked there, and then Shang-Chi was a really good movie that surprised the
Yes.
hell out of me. And
Yep.
No Way Home was really good, but like some of these other shows are just okay. I'm gonna dip out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. They hit their stride. They had some really good ones, and then it's just kind of declined from there. I haven't seen the new Captain America, which I just have no interest in. I'll be honest. Yeah,
oh
there's been
yeah,
a few.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was good too. Like that was a solid. That should have been the third Cap movie. Beyond that should have been Sam's Cap movie right there. To be
Fair.
honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they needed this new one. Some people keep telling me it's okay, but
I thought it was
all
pretty
right.
generic.
Okay, yeah. So you saw it, and yeah.
Yeah, I would have avoided. I watched some pretty I watched the Minecraft movie.
Okay, I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, I mean the words generic and boring like can't even begin to describe that movie.
That's funny.
And it
Okay.
kind of like I wouldn't have been like pissed off at it, but it like the whole message of the movie is embrace your inner creativity. That kind of pissed me off because I'm just like, okay, so you make this real generic by the book movie, and then your whole message is creativity, good.
Hmm. Fair.
That just
Yeah.
feels real disingenuous to me, and I'm like, everyone should be ashamed of themselves. You tried to do the Lego movie, but you didn't earn it, you know? You didn't earn it like the Lego movie did, you know?
Fair. Very fair.
I don't know if you
Yeah, that's
watched
the
the
thing. The
Lego
Lego movie
movie.
really paved the way with that. Hilarious, creative, and no one expected a Lego movie to be that good.
Exactly. It's like the Lego movie, like, is just balls to the walls creativity, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, so when it goes with creativity is good, I'm like, okay, this feels earned, you know?
Mm. Yep. Yeah. That's
Kind of
what's funny
sucks,
is
too,
is I
because
feel, I haven't seen, but I have no interest in watching the Mario movie, or if I'm being honest, the Minecraft movie. I think because they feel like unearned follow-ups to Lego. It just doesn't appeal to me.
it
So
sucks, too, because I like Jack Black, and he was fun in
fair.
Minecraft. He was one of the fun parts of that movie.
Isn't his name Steve in it?
Yeah, he's called Steve.
That's so good.
Yeah, he's
Now I
basically,
know there's Steves everywhere, and all my Steve friends on Twitter constantly get mad at me. It's great.
it used to be Steve! Yeah, no, it's, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I had to watch it for my job, and I was like, oh, why? So yeah,
Brutal.
yeah. My dad was watching because there's this show called The Chosen, which is about Jesus and his disciples,
Oh yeah, yeah.
though
Okay, yeah.
told in a very like very very like human way,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
That one's
Really,
on Prime, isn't it? Did I have that right?
yes, it
Okay.
is,
I think I've seen it around. Yeah.
um. But it basically is like it very much humanizes like Jesus, gives him like I mean mostly fictional backstories because we don't really know that much about the apostles based on
Yeah.
except for like the Bible.
Yeah.
But gives them depth. Really good stuff. Surprisingly, like I wasn't really expecting much from The Chosen,
Hmm.
but really surprised me. That show. But then I ended up watching my dad watched like the new season came out and they put it in theaters for whatever reason. So my dad saw that and I watched the Minecraft movie.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think my mom, funny enough, was telling me that she had seen The Chosen in theaters, and I was like, "Wait, what? Isn't that a show?" And then I realized, "Oh no, they showed it in theaters first." Yeah, which is an interesting tactic. I mean, but clearly a lot of people went to see it, so it worked. But it made it very long, right? Wasn't it three-hour
Yeah,
movie?
it was like 2.5 hours, but he actually finished watching it before, you know, Minecraft movie was over. So I was just like, all
Fair.
right, all right. So yeah, he just snuck in. He's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, this film sucks.
Brutal. Yeah.
And I was like, God. He's like, are you gonna rip on it? I mean, try to think of it as a 10-year-old. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And I just kind of went like, well, if you're a kid, I hope you like it. I didn't.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know.
It's like, like I've seen movies like The Incredibles or
Oh, there you
Finding
go.
Nemo
Yeah,
or the Toy
those are the
Story
classics.
trilogy. And I'm like, there's good children's entertainment right there.
Yep.
Children
Remember when that
deserve
used to
better
movies
than
like
a
that used to come
Minecraft
out?
movie.
Movies like that used to come out regularly.
Yeah.
It was almost monthly, and now it feels like a rare treat when you get another Finding Nemo or Incredibles or on the adult side, some of these good Christopher Nolan masterpieces. But
Mm-hmm.
it feels harder now to find the. Well, I mean that's the thing too is I remember friends and I used to go to movies almost once a week. Maybe once every two, and we had no problem finding good movies to watch.
Yeah.
I can't now. COVID influenced this for sure, but just going to the theater just isn't as big a thing anymore. Not for me anyway. If I do, it's somewhat of a big deal. Not a big deal, but a rarer treat. You know.
Yeah, also streaming became a
Yeah.
thing, so that also probably.
Yeah. Well, it explode again with COVID. It exploded beyond where it even was before. So now there's there's less of a pause between a movie coming out in theaters and then coming out in for streaming, because it used to be you had to wait for the DVD and it was a much longer wait, you know. Whereas now home premieres on streaming services are a normal thing, so you don't even have to leave your place to
Like the
watch a
last
theater movie.
like the last really great thing I watched aside from like Sinners was The Penguin, which was the
Okay,
spinoff of the Batman movie. That was
yeah,
incredible. I was
fair.
like, that was another one where I was kind of like, okay, I think this will be good because I like the Batman,
Mm,
but like it blew me away. Like I was so just like I was not expecting it to be as good as it was.
yeah.
So
I'm
been a
trying to think
couple of
of
that recently where I like walk in with very minimal expectations and then I'm like, whoa.
yeah. What was the last really mind blowing thing for me? That's tough. I mean, I want to say, but no, I feel like there's been one or two things since. But one of the big ones for me would have been Top Gun Maverick. That
Oh
one
yeah,
was
that was good.
that was yeah
Another Tom Cruise joint.
yeah that was a return to that level of amazing that you just, and I didn't expect it from that movie. I expected good. I just didn't expect anywhere near that level of quality.
Tom Cruise is kind of single-handedly keeping like American cinema alive in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Yep.
As just like in a weird way. There were
Oh, yeah.
also some moments in Mission Impossible Final Reckoning where like my suspension of disbelief was just really stretched at points.
Hmm.
And I ended up joking later. I'm like, well, I guess through Xenu, all things are possible. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that joke. Like
Oh, I
Xenu's
do.
the
I love the Scientology vampire jokes that you see about him all the time. Like, what was it? Was it his one of his earlier movies, and you see the main actress from that and how she looks now versus him now, uh, and just that she's like bigger with white hair, and he just looks almost identical to how he looked at that age, right? Like he does not age. He looks a little older now,
yeah.
but
I find with guys like Tom Cruise, he's kind of like Sylvester Stallone in a way where like he can act when he wants to. Like get him in a good
yeah,
movie like Tropic Thunder, for instance, where like he's not doing his normal Tom Cruise thing. The dude can act, like, or Collateral. Like get him in like a
collateral. Yeah,
like get him in like a non-traditional Tom Cruise movie. The dude can act, like
yeah,
no doubt. But he kind of he likes doing his Tom Cruise thing, which is fine.
yeah,
But
yeah. He definitely falls back on a type unless he ends up in one of those movies that pushes him. Um, yeah, so I know what you mean.
yeah, Sylvester Stallone's the same way. Like get him in something like Copland, and you're like, whoa,
Mm,
this dude can actually act. He's pretty good at this,
fair.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but it's just yeah. But no, Tom Cruise, man, he's a character.
Yeah. There you go. Another character.
Coming back full circle,
Full circle.
full circle. He's a
That was
character. Yeah, ever since I remember Christian Bate or not Christian Bateman, Bateman's a character he played. Christian Bale
Christian Bale. Yeah.
was talking once about American Psycho because he played Patrick Bateman in that movie, and he
Yeah.
said he was inspired by Tom Cruise. He's like, I see
Oh,
Tom
that's funny.
Cruise smile, and there's just like nothing in his eyes. It just does not reach the eyes, and I'm like, that's all. So every time I see him smile, I just get creeped out because I always think of that. I'm like, is he secretly like a freaking psychopath who just
That's really funny.
wants to take over the world?
That's
With
funny.
Scientology, he's like a Scientology overlord.
Yeah. Oh, that's really funny. I mean, he kind of is. So who knows? Anyways, that's priceless. Yeah. I feel like I'd heard that and I forgot, but you're right. Thinking of Tom Cruise as the inspiration for Patrick Bateman is a whole other level. That's so dark. That's a.
Or at
And
least when
Christian
he
Bale is another one of those actors. Huge range, and he's
also
done.
Prestige. He was also in the Prestige. He plays the
Exactly. Yeah.
twins. Oh my god, he was
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Batman, The Prestige, American Psycho. What are some other good ones? He was in The Fighter, but I that one didn't get me as well.
Mm.
I've seen some other fight movies, so I definitely prefer to it.
Warrior.
Uh,
Warrior is probably my favorite like modern fight
yes,
movie.
yeah,
with
But
Tom Hardy,
that's Tom Hardy and Joel.
uh,
Why am I
Edgerton.
messing up? Yes, and I love both. Like that movie, yeah, that's probably
It's probably the best like modern like martial arts slash
yeah,
like sports movie
yeah.
in my
That
opinion,
movie I
anyway.
can watch again and again. On so many levels it delivers. Like very, very good
It's
movie.
kind of funny. I don't know if you watch Tori Talks very much, but she was talking about that movie the other day, and I just felt so vindicated. I was like, yes.
I wish I had caught that one.
Ah.
Yeah, because that's like it's one of my favorite.
She
Like
was on
that's
a
one
she
of
was
my
on a
favorite.
stream talking about like movies she liked, and she's all like, "Oh yeah, Warrior with Tom Hardy." I'm like, I feel vindicated.
I wish I caught that. Yeah, well, I feel that. It's funny because, I mean, without going into too much detail, but my brother and I, you know,
You guys didn't fight each other,
it's
did you?
almost
In
a
a
parallel relationship to some elements of that movie.
you
So
guys didn't fight each other in a
no,
MMA
no,
ring, did you?
but for reasons out of our control, there was a good stretch of years where we didn't have access to each other when
Mm.
we were younger. So coming back together after all those years, this was one of the movies that we both watched and thought this gets it. It's just anyway. So it's hard to go
I
into
hope you
more
guys weren't
detail.
abused either. Like Warrior gets pretty dark.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like some of those darker elements are relatable, and that's the point. Is they portray it incredibly well,
hmm
uh, just with a way that hits home. Like
I also
for
like that the dad character, Nick Nolte
Nick
is
Nolte's amazing in that. He's
yeah
so good
like,
in that.
and I like that. I mean, generally like if you're like like a child abuser, like that, you're kind of like you're dead to me. Kind of you're like I just think of that as like pure scum. But
Yeah,
like I don't know, like I think the movie Warrior kind of makes clear like he's not an evil person. He just had a lot of demons, and it made him make a lot of really bad decisions.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, they do the balance well. They
Like
don't
my
try to make
favorite,
you
like
they don't try to make you okay with what happened,
they don't try
but
to
they do try
excuse
to.
what he did, but they show that he is trying to like make it right.
Yeah, they show a
And
human side, and like I love the conversation between him and Joel Edgerton's character,
mm-hmm,
where Joel is just like, this might be an important day for you. It's not for me. You don't have the right to just badger and come out here out of nowhere. I'm protecting my family. Go away, right?
mm,
But as we see
mm-hmm.
in the rest of the movie, with his brokenness, and he just continues trying to be there, doesn't abuse that effort. And they make peace by the end. That moment where he looks at him from the ring, as
Mm-hmm.
he's pinning his brother, and the father and son have that moment of like the father giving his
We
approval.
understand each other. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think my favorite scene in the movie is when he finally like he has his breakdown and he relapses and he's just he's a
Oh, that
wreck,
movie, that
and
scene is
Tom Hardy just
unbelievable.
kind of like he was all pissed off at him and like just put him down the previous night, but just he just sees him in such a state, he can't help but just feel horrible for him, and just is like, it's
Well,
okay.
he's the one who pushed him, right? So he
Yeah,
pushed him to that breaking point. But what they capture perfectly there is
that
Tom
that little
Hardy's character.
sliver of like forgiveness.
Well, it's that, but it's also so Tom Hardy's character
hmm
before that took care of the mother, right, when she was
yeah,
dying.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
he has that caretaker side to him. He has that he's looking out for people, everyone in his life. He's sacrificing for them. He's going the extra
that's why
mile.
he's fighting, if I remember.
Yeah,
That's why he's
exactly. So, for the first time in his life, he's seeing his father as one of those people. He sees the brokenness as something to take care of, as opposed to an enemy to get back at,
mm.
which is a huge arc. Like that's what part of what makes that moment so
God, Warrior's
pivotal.
so good.
Oh, it's such a good movie. Yeah, you got me started on this. This is
Freaking
your
love
fault.
Warrior. Like, I think Bronson's probably my favorite Hardy movie, but like Warrior isn't my top 5. That is such a good movie.
Yeah,
Oh my god, like it's so good.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I liked Creed, the kind of Rocky movie that Michael B. Jordan was in. Like that was a
yeah,
really good movie, but like man, Warrior just incredible,
yeah.
incredible movie.
I'm with you. Creed was great, but it can't stack up against something
It's not
like
Warrior
yeah.
exactly.
It's
I
not
love
Warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
don't think I watched. I think I watched the second. Because there's a third Creed now too, right? I don't think I
Yeah,
watched the newest
yeah.
one. I
I
watched
saw
two.
I saw it when it came out, and I thought it was pretty good. But I think the first Creed was my favorite.
Fair, yeah, yeah.
I also
Out
really
of the
liked
two I
Creed
saw.
2. I thought Creed 2 was pretty underrated.
Maybe
I
I need to give
really
that
liked
a
how they developed even Drago as a character.
chance. Okay, yeah,
Where he's
I do
not
remember
just
that.
like where he's not like where he's not like I must break you,
Yeah,
Russian guy, like
yeah.
big scary Russian dude. Like he still is kind of he's a big ominous Russian dude still, but he
A
has
little
like
more humanized.
he has a little more depth.
Yeah. Total Michael B. Jordan non sequitur. And we might have, I don't think we talked about this last time, but it's just coming to mind. But did you ever see Chronicle?
Yes, I did long time ago. That's
How did
another
you feel
underrated
about
movie.
that?
It's an underrated movie.
Yeah.
And
I,
I thought it was really like refreshing as like a take on the superhero genre because it's like
yeah.
they don't go evil, they don't they don't do the Spider-Man thing. Well, okay, one of them goes evil, but that's beside the point. Like,
Yeah.
but I really like in that movie that like they don't do anything like super ridiculous at first. Like they're just goofing off with their powers.
They're just teens with power.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels
And
real.
I'm like, that's so like authentic because I know
Yep.
like if I had superpowers, what's the first thing I would probably do? I'd probably goof around and figure out how they all work.
Yep.
I thought
Well,
that
like,
was really well done.
and I'm not always a found footage fan, but that movie did it for me. And I think part of that is the found footage. They leaned into it with those elements. So like watching teens, throw a baseball and curving it in the air, on video and being like, look at that, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Or pranking people in like the toy store, right? Like it feels like something you would do. You get
yeah.
powers like that, you would pull out a camera
And
and
they're
you'd
not
be like,
like
oh,
doing
are
anything
you
like
seeing this?
they're not like trying to take over the world. Well, again, till around the third act, but
Yeah.
they're
But
just
even then, his like Andrew Dehan, yeah. Anyways, his dark fall, it's not quite what you normally see. It's not the same dark origin of like falling into a vat of eels, like
yeah.
Electro. It's like no. He's been abused and he's going through a lot of dark stuff, and he feels alone, and he just loses it. But it
hmm
feels believable, and it doesn't blow up past a single city where it's all happening. It's
Yeah, like he doesn't try to take over the world or anything. Well,
yeah,
I don't. He's just like I'm pissed off and I want to hurt people, which is
yeah.
pretty scary on its own.
Yeah,
But
especially with
I
powers
do
like
really
that.
like in that movie that it kind of is like The Incredibles in that way. I really like these normal people who just happen to have powers.
Yeah, yeah,
Now I wouldn't say it's exactly dead on for The Incredibles because like The Incredibles, they're very much like the traditional superheroes who like want to help people.
yeah.
But
Who
while
also
still
have their identities
yeah, while still
and
struggling with like normal everyday stuff.
yeah, yeah. That kind of falls into the Superman Clark Kent kind of feel a
Yeah.
little bit more. Yeah, yeah. Whereas these are teen guys who now have powers and have to somehow incorporate that into the life, that they had and how quickly it spirals out of control.
Yeah, yeah, that's an underrated movie. I
Yeah.
thought it was a solid one.
I might have to rewatch that soon. It's been a while. It's been a long while.
Man, you're making me want to watch Warrior or not Warrior, rewatch Warrior.
Rewatch Warrior. Yeah,
Because we were
yeah.
talking about Warrior. It's
I
like,
think those might be my next two movies. I have them both, so I probably could.
oh
Yeah, that's
man,
tempting.
it's such a good movie. Like it's so good. I love Warrior.
Yeah, one of the greats. One of the
Oh
absolute
man.
greats.
Well, I hate to cut this off because I always enjoy talking with you, Tim. But I do have some other things I'm hoping to get to this evening. So probably
Sounds
gonna
good. Hey, we're already at. I mean, we're at the 2 hour mark. That's
yeah.
a
I mean
good one
we're
piece
so
time,
yeah. But thank you, Tim, for coming on again. I always enjoy hanging out with you. Glad we were
yeah, it's
able
a
to
total
catch
blast.
up. But as I like to do before the end of these things, if you have any social media, feel free to share them.
Yeah, well, I mean, easiest place to find me is on X. I'll just call it X, Twix, whatever you want to call it. So, Tim McKay 52, same handle for Blue Sky and Instagram. Those are the three best spots to find me.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
forgot you were on Instagram.
yeah, I'm trying to do more there now that I have a kick-ass cover I can show off, and things like that. My Joe Rayquaza black and whites. Did you see my most recent one? I'll send it your way if not.
I don't think so. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I
Or
just got a new one from him too. So I have my 3 black and white illustrations from him inside The Fall of Sylvandria, and then I just got a new one that's going to be in the sequel, but I started showing it off early to
Maybe
start.
I'll try and pick up your book and I'll read it, and then I'll have you on and pick your brain about what you were thinking when you wrote it at some point.
That'd be fun.
Because,
yeah, I mean, obviously that'd be game. So.
You know, because, when it comes to indie authors and knowing them, I like to find a workaround so people won't accuse me of being biased. So I like to get the authors on and ask them, like, so, what were you thinking when you wrote this book? Or something like that,
I think you'll have a few moments like that in my book for sure. So
Not like in a bad way, like, what were you...
I wouldn't mind either way. It's fun to talk about. Yeah, but
like, why'd you do the Kamehameha? No, I'm kidding. I don't know if you did that in that.
Yeah, no Kamehamehas in my book. You're welcome.
Anyway, Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram are those places.
Yeah, I would say those are the 3 top ones. I do have a URL reserved for a website. Temporarily, it's down. I'm going to eventually put an index and maps and illustrations on there and things like that. But I think I'm waiting for the sequel to really put effort into the website. For now, yeah, you can find me on X, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Blue Sky. And obviously my All Caps channel now on YouTube as well. So All Caps Book Chat is where to find that for author chats like this as well.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this chat. Tim, once again, thank you for coming on here and hanging out again for a little while. But until next time, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you later.